Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Start this podcast.
There it is.
Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 588. I'm your host this evening, Nicholas Henderson. I'm joined by Bradley Simons.
Yo!
Nolan Hedstrom.
Hello.
Christopher Guthridge.
What's up?
And video producer over on the fifth mic, Christopher Davis.
Hello?
All right. Welcome to the show. We have a lot to talk about tonight, guys. There's so much happening right now. Fucking Resident Evil 2 Remake is out.
Yep.
Don't you do it, Nolan. Don't you blow into that harmonica. Resident Evil 2 Remake is out. We're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. There's a whole shit ton of news. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about some Anthem, because Krispy and Nolan played the Anthem beta. Mm-hmm. I had it. I didn't play it.
We played the Anthem demo.
The VIP demo.
The VIP demo.
It's not a beta.
I'm going to be honest. I feel really guilty. I threw down the $5 just so I can get the code.
Dude, I
didn't even play it.
$15 so I could get my friends' codes because they're a bunch of fucking slouches. And it was only after I did that I realized you can invite up to 3 friends.
What are we?
No!
Actually, are we starting the podcast by talking
Eric
about
from
Anthem?
the community gave me a code.
We're not. Well, actually, we might do
Thanks,
that.
Eric.
By the way, the redeem process. Oh my god. Okay, no. Well,
We have-
I'll save it for Anthem.
Yes.
We have a few things. A little bit of housekeeping before we get to all the video game talk. All right. First of all, it is Tuesday, January 29th, 2019, and today was the first we released our first Game of the Year video, our first top 10 video. It is my top 10 games of 2018.
I gotta say, you surprised me with your number 2. That's like a little tease for them, you know?
Yeah,
They're
okay.
like, oh, we gotta fucking watch it.
All right.
I was expecting
I'm
something
glad.
else based on how our award show went.
Really? I'm trying to think of what Maybe.
Maybe,
Okay.
yeah.
I see. Okay.
Are you
Anyways,
teased?
check out my video. My top 10 games of 2018. It's out there. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitter. It's on 4playernetwork.com. It is out there. I would love you guys to go out there and watch it. If you want to talk to me about my choices or anything, if you want to talk to any of us about any of our choices, we set up a special channel in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. There's a channel called GOTY, Game of the Year 2018. Head in there. We'll be in there talking about our choices and whatnot.
Except for me. Don't talk to me about mine.
Don't talk to Nolan about his choices. Also, if you're a supporter of us on Patreon, we have there's a post now up on patreon.com/4player where supporters can watch all of the videos that are ready to go but haven't been released yet. So you basically have early access to, I think, a total of 4 videos right now, including Nolan's and Ed's and George's, and I think Brad's is going up there next. So check that out. We will update that post as we get more of them done. So if you're a supporter out there, you can go watch any one of those videos already on patreon.com/4player. Let's see. What else was I going to mention?
Feedback.
You're right. I forgot. I had something else and I forgot about it. So we're going to push right on through that. And we're going to read feedback because, of course, we read feedback from every episode. So let's see what people had to say after last week's episode. Here it is. Thorax.
Thorax? I haven't heard from Thorax in a while.
Wait, I think he comments twice here. I could be wrong. Thorax says, on last week's show, Brad said that Resident Evil 8 should not have Billy Cohen and instead be a Steve prequel. Let me say this. 1, fuck you. 2, you deserve to have your face eaten off by Nick. That's cannibalism. I don't do that. 3, Crispy, I hope you're enjoying your new Switch.
Hey, thanks, Thorax. I am.
I like how you quickly glance at the comment and you're like, wait, did someone tell me to fuck off?
I just saw "fuck you, Crispy."
Yeah.
That's all I saw.
Wargroove comes out Friday.
Huh?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Wargroove. Fuck that. We'll talk
Saturday?
about it. We'll talk about it.
I do also agree with Thorax because I've been a very big defender of Resident Evil Code Veronica for a very long time, but it wasn't until I recently went back and played it that the characters and voice acting in that game is so bad. It kind of ruined the experience for me. Steve is a terrible, terrible character. Anyways, Drew327 says, regarding Robin's bedtime, did I mention Robin?
Ooh.
I go to bed at 9:30 every night, but I have a 2-year-old. Well, so does Robin, but she does not have a 2-year-old. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were
No.
saying...
Then so does Robin.
Surprise, guys! She's got a 2-year-old. No. She goes to bed at 9:30, but she doesn't have the 2-year-old excuse. So, Yeah,
I
that's
honestly
expected.
thought you were talking about the cat.
I thought he was talking about himself. Like he's the 2-year-old.
Wow.
Gotta put Nick down for bed.
You,
I can imagine Nick saying that.
Mushrooms.
I don't even.
Don't even wash him. I want to taste the earth.
Yeah, don't watch that shit. Anyways, Equack says
Literal shit.
Valve has said that they have ways of letting people download their libraries in the event Steam has to shut down.
Oh, that's cool.
I think we were
that,
we were talking about like, you know, what would happen if Steam all of a sudden lost the race and
Well, the question would be, would Steam even still have that up for us to download?
yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I mean, it's not going to be like a nuclear bomb's going to drop and we're not going to be able to play our Steam games.
Yeah.
If Valve and Steam actually goes out, it's going to be way messier than you think. So I wouldn't like fall back on the fact that you think you're going to be able to just download all your games willy-nilly, nice and easy, because it's going to be more complicated.
It would not be a
that.
clean cut. Like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be.
People at Enron thought they were just going to keep getting a paycheck until
They weren't.
Yeah,
one day they didn't.
Look at the WiiWare shit that's going on right now. You can, like, tomorrow or Friday's the last day to use any points you have and download stuff off the Wii shop, but you can't re-download them.
Really?
Yeah.
But
You have to have points on your thing.
I don't even know.
David has 20,000 points. Or 20,000?
Oh, yeah, it was 20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. He's trying to figure out how to fucking spend them all, and he has, like, less than 48 hours.
That's like
Brewster's Million?
That's like that question of like, if someone gave you $1 million, but you had to spend it all in like 24 hours, what would you do? It's kind of like,
Buy Bitcoins.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Live at the Milky Way, I don't think we've heard from him in a while, says, I don't consider myself a big Resident Evil fan, so it's funny when I think back over the last decade and realize that I've played through Resident Evil 5 campaign 6 times.
Wow.
Twice solo and 4 times co-op with different people. Playing that game is an easy decision to make because it's simple, satisfying, very consistent. The inventory management and wide variety of enemy types always keep me entertained. Sorry. It's an underappreciated game, so glad to hear it got love from the podcast. It was great. Nolan and I had a lot of fun playing that.
I really do wish the inventory was real time. I
Carried
guess
over.
we're going to talk about
Yeah, we're going to talk about Resident Evil 2 here in a bit. But I will say this. After playing Resident Evil 5 with Nolan, I think that I've bitched a lot over the years about Resident Evil 5, and I still have those same feelings, but like I think that game rose in my ranking of that series quite a bit after playing it a second time.
I'm glad, Nick.
I still fucking hate the volcano, Brad.
Well, yes.
Just saying. Anyways,
I'm just saying, like, it got a bad rap over the years, and it started out as this game that was a lot closer to 4 in terms of quality, but as time passed, the way people talked about it, it started getting closer to 6 and further from 4, and I'm like, no. This is much closer in quality to 4 than it is to 6.
Yeah, that game plays like a fucking dream. I love it. I kind of wish it was possible to play that game solo and have like the same quality of experience as you would if you're playing it cooperatively. But I'm sure it's fine. It's
okay.
like he says he played it several times solo, so that's
keeping your
promising.
partner alive is just part of that gameplay.
Yeah,
it's cool.
But he does go on to say, just this week, my brother and I have been going through a phase with the Mercenaries minigame. That shit is fun, especially since we are playing a modded version that allows you to co-op No Mercy mode, which basically means a Days Gone style stupid amount of zombies. I recommend it.
That's cool.
Also, since my brother moved 5 states away last year, Resident Evil 5 is the one thing keeping us from drifting apart.
Hold on, five northeastern states or 5 like southwestern states? Because that's a big difference distance-wise.
That is very true. But that is cool. It's cool to see.
That's a
game
matter
like
of
that
like a couple of hours or like a couple of days.
And if one of those states is Alaska or Hawaii.
That's true.
Yeah, I've always been jealous of the people who live up in the Northeast and can drive a couple hours in any direction and end up in a completely different part of the country.
Well, you
But
don't
for
have
us,
to. You don't have to be jealous of them this week.
Yes, this week would be
Because they're all gonna die.
hey,
Oh God!
that's not funny because that probably true.
People definitely will
I
die.
mean,
I did see that. I saw that one thing
I
where it
wasn't
was
joking.
like the
Did that say negative 60?
the wind chill.
With the
it
wind
could
chill?
get as low
negative
as
58.
negative 60 something.
With the wind chill.
I feel like I would
The
just
actual
die.
low is like closer to like
okay.
the 30s, but like negative 30s.
Your
Whatever,
body's just gonna be
critter.
like, oh, it's just the wind chill. It's not
I
that
could
bad.
drive to California and halfway I'm still in Texas.
Yes, that is true.
Think about that.
No.
That's fucked up.
All right. Grab a beer is our last comment of the night. He says the graphics in Resident Evil 2 Remake, which we're going to talk about soon, looks so good you can pretty much caress Leon's face every time there's a zoom in during the cutscenes. I know it's said every console generation, but how could graphics possibly get any better? Love the show. Great discussion as always. I don't know if that's more of a rhetorical question.
Yeah, it sounded
about
like
the graphics. I think I'm going to treat it as a rhetorical question. I don't know. It does look amazing.
I know, right?
Where's the questions?
What?
Oh, we're done with all the...
That was the end of...
Okay.
That was the last feedback. Thank you guys very much for the feedback. Like I said, we'll talk more about Resident Evil 2 here shortly. We do appreciate the feedback. If you want to say anything after tonight's discussions, please drop us a comment at 4playernetwork.com on the post for this episode. We'll read it next week.
Piece of feedback.
Oh, okay.
This is from our award show, and it's for everybody in the room. Mm-hmm. It's a question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My question is, after all those awards we gave and a lot of conversation we have, can y'all think of one game that you felt like didn't get mentioned at all, but you would like to mention it?
No.
That you felt bad.
Don't put me on the spot, Brad.
Didn't get mentioned at all.
From you personally. Mine is WarioWare Gold.
Oh,
it wasn't on my top 10. It didn't win any awards, but I just wanted to say it's worth mentioning because that game is a hell of a lot of fun.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you I got a good 12 hours out of Dead Cells.
Oh, you didn't mention that, but you liked it.
I mean, I did like it, and then it was just kind of like the same thing, and I fell off of it and started playing Chasm, which I liked more.
Yeah.
But Dead Cells was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think we even mentioned Dead Cells.
Yeah.
Maybe on Disappointments I mentioned it.
I sadly think I mentioned most things in some capacity. I kind of wish that I could have mentioned Far Cry 5 in some other capacity other than biggest disappointment. Considering the fact that I did play it for 40 hours and I did enjoy it. I must have enjoyed it to an extent to have played it that much. But,
Did we talk about Shadow of Colossus Remake?
I mentioned that in the, what was it? Oh, that was I mentioned it during the Asterisk, yeah.
You know,
I keep forgetting that happened last year, but yeah.
Did Hitman 2 get any?
I don't think that came out much.
Well,
maybe in level design? I don't remember.
It did. Hey,
someone will have to go back and listen to our
did anybody
award
check
show
their
again.
PlayStation.com stats?
How do you see that?
No.
You go to PlayStation.com, you scroll down to like the year in review or whatever.
I saw you tweeting about it, but you said that yours weren't accurate.
No. No.
You left your console on during?
No, the total hours played, I think probably tracks like Netflix time or whatever as well. Because mine was like 1,500 hours.
It's just tracking when the console's on.
Just for that one. No, not console on, but I think it's tracking like Netflix and Amazon and stuff. But as far as like time played and stuff, I think that stuff's, it includes like some idling time, obviously, but it tracks like your most played games, how much of that time you spent playing like multiplayer. It's a pretty interesting set of stats.
I should go check that out.
Yeah, you should.
I was curious.
All I would say is I was surprised to see my third most played game was God of War and not Red Dead Redemption 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Where do you say you see this, Brian?
Wait, do it during the break. We got discussions to have.
Oh, that's true.
Krispy, can we start? Can we actually start with you tonight? Can we have you two on the couch over there talk a little bit about your experiences in the Anthem beta?
What, you don't want to talk about Resident Evil?
I do, but I next. We'll do it second.
Okay.
Hit us with that sweet Anthem
Crispy
impressions.
and I played Anthem, but not together.
No.
But we both played it.
Because you all hate each other.
So,
We're
let me
not.
tell you about Anthem. You start in this hub world. You haven't gotten in your, what is your skeleton thing called? Your
It's called a
Javelin.
Javelin. You haven't gotten your Javelin yet. There's some story going on. You walk around this
Why are
area.
you rubbing the pillow like that?
Yeah, rub things. And here's the thing, Nick. You have to walk around a lot, and you can't fucking run.
They did say today that when the final game comes out, you will be able to run.
It was fucking infuriating because they make you go fucking all the way across the map back and forth every time there's some story beat and you can't fucking run. And I literally wanted to quit the VIP demo right then and there because it's fucking infuriating when you can't run and you have to go and there's nothing to do in between. It's not like you're going up and talking with shopkeepers and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Let's not get too bogged down and
I would like to keep perspective that there's a lot of things we're going to complain about right now that will probably not be true of the launch version of the game.
Correct. They'll probably fix a bunch of stuff. Because people like us will be bitching.
The fucking first weekend of the demo was kind of a mess.
Kind of.
That's part of
It
the
was
reason
kind
why I
of a
didn't
mess.
actually boot it up. All I was hearing were people talking about like connection issues.
There was a lot of connection issues.
I didn't actually have connection issues.
I didn't either because they'd kind of solved most of that. But there's a lot of like crashing issues. Like you'll just get
what were you
stuck
playing it on? PS4?
I was playing on PS4.
I was playing on PC.
On PS4 at least, you get stuck on load screens a lot. I know Xbox had a harder time than PS4 with a lot of those kind of glitches. There's a lot of like rubber banding going on. A lot of just like crashing and restarting. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it would take a couple tries to like even get into a mission. You know,
Yeah.
It was kind of a thing. The infrastructure wasn't there. But hopefully, there's another demo weekend going on this weekend that's going to be open to everybody. So hopefully they'll have their shit together a little better by this weekend. The stuff that like Nolan was talking about.
They're probably working like around the clock right now to make sure that doesn't happen this weekend.
Your hub city, like if we're comparing this to Destiny, which I know, oh my god, don't compare it. Whatever. I'm just gonna talk about it in those terms because that's exactly what it is. I mean, as far as like the actual game structure, hub city, open world, taking missions, looting, coming back.
So there it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been kind of on the fence about that for so long. Like, is this as similar to Destiny as I was thinking it was?
Oh, it is.
Totally is.
It's so let me talk about some things that I was frustrated with first, okay? Everything Nolan mentioned, everything I just mentioned, redeeming codes, they're fucking, like, the fucking, EA accounts.
Yeah.
Like, you had to go through this whole EA account thing, and it's like, you couldn't even make an account. You had to just, like, already have one, and then it's like...
I had to make an account, and it works.
I already had one.
If you didn't have... like, on console, if you didn't already have an EA account when you booted up the game, there was no option for them to like automatically make you one. So you'd have to you can't do it online. Or well, no, you can't. You can make an account online, but you can't associate it with your PSN.
Oh.
So like if you wanted to make a new account and have it associated with your PSN, you had to like fucking I don't know. Like it seemed like the only thing I could figure was to just like put in a different EA game.
Oh,
and,
that's weird.
Yeah. I had to contact customer service. I was on like a chat line with them for like an hour. It was a whole thing. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
That's never.
I had a much easier time than that.
The links you go through.
I will say, hold on. I will
man.
say it was pretty silly that on I went to a website because like Eric93 from our community, thank you, gave me one of his 3 codes that he got for friends. So I had to go to a website and put in that. That's right. The code was like a website, and it's like, hey, you now have access to the beta. Here's what you got to do: download Origin if you don't already have it.
Yeah.
Boot it up. Search for Anthem. You have to physically type in Anthem. It'll take you to a page. Once you're on that page, click a drop down, and it was just, it was fucking convoluted as shit to get this started.
It was weird. It was really weird.
And then I finally got in and then just downloaded and I booted up the game. But I don't know. I haven't played much Destiny personally. I don't know how similar Destiny is to this. I know they're similar. The hub world, I'm sure there will be something more there than what is currently there.
Everything in that world, when you interact with it, it's
boring as shit.
It's like there's... Yeah, it just says this will be available in the full game.
It's like a little town, and there's like people walking around. You can't interact with any of them, and the ones you can interact with, they're like, "Oh, here's some random shit. All right, bye." Like some random dialogue, like, and it's I don't know. And
so everything's gated off for the.
Well, yeah, very much.
Demo,
I will say,
even what?
Just as like kind of a word of caution, is that I remember when like the original Destiny beta was out there, and a lot of people said this is really cool, but it's gonna get. It seems a little repetitive, but I'm sure when the final game comes out, there's going to be like way more. And then the final version came out and people were like, actually, that beta was like almost like a third of all the content or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, okay, so
don't assume that it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows.
That brings me to the point I want to talk about. Okay? This beta, they're dropping you in at level 10.
Yeah.
And you can level up to level 15. Okay?
In the beta.
Right. I don't know what the cap is. I'm sure it's a lot higher than that. And they also have a thing like in Destiny where like you have a character level, but you also have another number that's like your gear score. That's like more important. You know what I'm saying?
Than your character level.
Right.
Yes.
Like everything's gonna be kind of like gauged by your gear score. Like, oh, you have epic level gear, you can do this raid or whatever. You know?
I do remember hearing somebody at EA saying that this demo the beta is like
it's like
at like a halfway point in the game.
it's like a middle. Yeah.
Well, you start at like level 10 in
Yeah.
the
first
beta.
I mean, like when Destiny came out, I think the original cap was like 50 or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
some shit like that. So I would imagine it'd be something around that. With the original Destiny, that was kind of the case, but what we were talking about and like what the issue was that like there wasn't like you kind of saw all of the map, you know, like they took you all around the Earth map and like this beta shows you the map. It shows you how big it is. It's not like massive, but what am I trying to say? But like the world's a little more circular than that, and a lot of content is kind of like also instanced and like when you do dungeons, when you do instances, raids, shit like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like separate from like your game world, right? With Destiny, what happened with that game and like when it got to a point where it was like viable, where people were like coming back to it and being like, this is fun, you know, around the end of the first game's life cycle, they had added a bunch of end game content. And that's the problem with like playing a beta or a demo of any of these kind of games, especially when they're dropping you into like your original leveling. Like when you play Destiny, the level 1 through 50, like starting a new character and then maxing out their level, that's the first like 4 hours of the game you play. What? The game is like
getting loot.
The game is looting and like doing instances and daily quests and like PvP and shit like that after you're already leveled up so you can increase your gear score. The game is like going through fucking what they would call strikes and raids and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what was fun. That was like the loop. That's where it gets like really cool and you're like, okay, I'm hunting for exotics, I'm trying to like level up my gear, I'm trying to like eke out like you're not jumping up like 20 points in gear score like every time you get a new piece of armor. You're like trying to eke out 1 or 2 more points with like trying to like decode engrams and level them up and like reroll stats and shit like that. That's where the game gets like fun. That's when you're like in it. That's where it's like Diablo, you know? This demo is just kind of like the middle of like your early part of your experience. Mm-hmm. So it's still very much focused on like do this story mission and like finish this quest to get a rare gun, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's you could play through you could play through the first 50 levels of Destiny and not get Destiny. You know what I'm saying? So like doing a demo for a game like Anthem, which is everything I've seen, it says this is Destiny. Like it is pretty much Destiny. Doing a beta for that where you're just going from level 10 to 15, like I don't know what it tells you. Like I don't know what it really like shows you. Well, all it does is give you a feel for how the game controls.
I think for one they're trying to endear themselves to people who are already fans of Destiny, who will recognize that.
Well, that in all
very
honesty,
immediately
this is a network test.
Yeah.
That's
for
what
sure.
it really is.
For sure. What I'm saying is like people who are playing this game and going like, well, this game sucks. Like I really like you're not seeing the whole picture, and that's not what the game's like. What I'm saying is we're not getting a taste of Endgame here at all, and we don't know what Endgame is going to look like because these games require continuous support. Yeah. So they're going to have to keep putting out content to make this viable, which I think they're pretty
I'm sure they plan
bent on doing.
Assuming it's relatively smooth. I know BioWare's last project was not very smooth.
Or EA's
or
projects over recent years.
Yes, Nolan.
I mean, can I comment? Like, so I played this. I don't know how many hours I played. 4, something like 5. I don't know, whatever. I've never played Destiny. I don't know anything about Destiny really. I know there's like some motorcycles or some shit, flying ones.
Speeder bikes.
You pretty much got it.
And so
sounds about right.
So I played this, and I mean I didn't hate it. It's not bad.
All right. So here's
so I mean I've never.
Did you go underwater?
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah. Let me talk about.
I never
my
found
experience.
a place where you could go
so
underwater.
I did. Let me talk about my experience with this, having never played Destiny or whatever. I had a decent time. It was me and 3 other guys in mechs.
Anyone from the community?
I played with Eric.
Cool.
93. Who gave me the code. I might play again this weekend because there's another.
I'm probably gonna try it this weekend. I forgot that it was
another
public
round.
This weekend.
Yeah, this weekend's the pub open to anybody too.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I only got to play with 2 different types of javelins. Not all 4. 4? Is there 4 different types?
I think it's 4
different
yeah.
types.
They're all going to be open up next weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll probably be additional ones added later, maybe.
Maybe.
That seems
maybe
like-
down the line.
Those are like their character classes.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I played as the main one. I did a little, kind
The
of
ranger.
the ranger using the different kind of ability. You have like a grenade, and you have I'm trying to remember what the specials
There's a
Your
tactical launcher.
tactical
and
launcher. Your ultimate, so you kind of fly. So what would that? You fly up in the air, and then you lock onto a bunch of enemies and start barraging them with.
Yeah, it's like
missiles.
that. It's like that Iron Man thing where he's just
Yeah.
like targeting a bunch of people and then like it just auto rockets them.
It's pretty cool.
That's always dope.
It
It's
is
great.
pretty dope.
It's great.
And so Mission Barrage. And so I did that, and then I played a few missions. The story I didn't really give a fuck about, but in all honesty, games like
No,
those,
I mean they don't.
I don't care
There
about
is no
the story.
There was like a mission. There's
Yeah.
like we don't know what the fuck's going on.
And so you go to point A, go to point B, you attack these dudes, free some prisoners. I didn't mind the waves of enemies. They'll like
Those are
create
fun to fight.
Yeah, they'll create these kind of warp points where enemies will start warping in at that point, and you have to just take on the barrages of dudes.
Sounds like Dragon Age 2.
It's very
There's a little bit of tactics to it, and that like flanking enemies can be pretty important. I think this is one of those games where I don't think it's going to be 100% necessary. I don't know how difficulty curve is going to be, but I think working with your other fellow mech.
I was seeing
guys
people
would
were
be-
saying that it seems like it's going to be like kind of like Destiny, where it's kind of almost like there's really no point in playing by yourself. This is kind of the kind of thing you.
I think it's any multiplayer like this. I think you still could probably get a good idea of what it have fun playing it by yourself.
Technology has a good question for you as far as the javelins go. Between the ones that you played, did they feel distinct?
I'll get to that. Hold on one sec. And so I do feel that when I was playing it by myself, it's not that I wasn't having as good of a time as when I was playing it with Eric. Because in all honesty, when I played it with Eric, neither of us had mics. Or sorry, I had a mic, but no one else did. Yeah. But I do feel that like if you could do a little more cooperation, like, hey, let's do this and let's try this, and hey, if you distract this guy, I'll flank around him and attack him from behind because there's weak points.
What you're talking about right there is exactly why like the end game content is really all that matters with this stuff, because that's the content where that kind of shit matters.
Yeah.
What we're playing right now, it doesn't really matter. So it doesn't
You
feel
can
like
get
it's
glimpses
part of the
it
game.
and tastes of it. But
Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
get
matter.
like you can set it to like hard and like there was a bit of a, like I played some missions on normal and played some missions on hard, and there's a fucking difficulty spike. But it like
But did y'all fight
the
any
shit
bosses?
where it's like yeah. But I mean the
multiple.
shit where it's like you need a party and you need to be like on mics communicating and you need to be coordinating and you need to be thinking about like who's in what javelin and like what kind of equipment there. That is end game shit. And like we don't see any of that.
Okay, so what you just described kind of like set off little alarm bells in my head because it sounded really cool. Because I was thinking like, so I don't have a feel for like how big the space is that you're moving, but like, would there potentially be scenarios where like you're all on javelins and you all like fly separately in different directions and you're on like comms, like talking to each other like from across the
Potentially,
map?
I could definitely
and,
see
like,
them.
coordinating.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
could
like,
definitely see them doing
You
like
do
kind of
that shit in
missions like that.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like
but
when you're in like raids and shit.
It just
like,
it seems like a really cool scenario here because specifically you're in like an Iron Man suit, essentially like flying around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean
just-
that's completely superfluous, but yes, I get what you're saying.
It is superfluous, but it's
the exact same thing, but yeah, I mean that is why like endgame content tends to be better, because like this like these like ad swarms that we're fucking killing for these missions are pretty basic. It's all just like go here, trigger the thing, fight the swarms,
Go to point
fight a
B,
boss
yeah.
at some point, and then like that's it. That's what story missions in Destiny are
Did you
like,
fight
too.
the giant like spider guy?
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, that's like what missions in Destiny are like too. It's when you get into like strikes and you get into raids that like you're having to like do puzzles, you're having to do like I mean you had to do all kinds of crazy fucking shit in the raids in Destiny.
Can I say this though?
Which that's like the interesting content. That's the stuff that like you're waiting for.
So like this is like a super big what if. Not just because the game hasn't come out, obviously, but because like the way some of these companies or these games handle in-game, sometimes it's a complete fucking disaster.
Sure.
And just unfinished, like, oh, I can't believe they got here so quick. We're not ready, So
I mean,
it might get better in-game. It could also get even worse. I mean, it
might, but that's what I'm saying. Like, going off of this demo is not enough. Going off of what the game looks like launch day is not enough.
Yeah.
Like, you have to look at this game, what it looks like in 6 months to get, like, an idea of what it is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of frustrating, but that's just the way these service games are,
Yeah.
Like you have to wait until like the economy catches up, where people like figure out what's going on. They have to figure out if they're doing PvP. Like, that's something else I've been reading, is like there's no plans at the moment. Like, it's not going to launch with any sort of PvP, but they're waiting to see if the community is like, we need PvP. And
which they will.
If they decide to pursue that, I mean, that might completely change the whole balance of the game. Like, they might they might focus on PvP instead of doing like it could go so many different ways. It's
Destiny didn't find its footing until well after launch.
See, like, the thing about Destiny, and this is kind of true of Anthem as well, just in a different way, is that like the base loop, like the gameplay, like the running around, the shooting, the using your powers, that stuff in Destiny felt amazing. That stuff in Anthem feels really good. I would say more like traversal and like empowers in Anthem feels great. Like the fucking flight and hover shit, that stuff is great.
The fact that you any point in time you can just use a boost to run somewhere, or you can just fly straight up in the air. It really does feel like like there's been so many times in multiplayer games where I feel like I'm kind of fucked. And I'm like, oh, fuck, there's nowhere for me to go. But in this, it's like, I'm kind of fucked. Look up, just fly out of there. Just literally fucking...
Just pull Iron Man.
You can do it anytime you want. And, like, when you're flying long distances and you're trying to, like, traverse through areas, like, you're kind of thinking about, like, the flight plans you're going to take because you have to manage heat for your jets.
Yeah.
So, like, you'll, like, fly under, like, waterfalls and shit like that to
cool yourself off.
Yeah.
Or if you could just fly low enough to skim some water, it'll cool your engines. And
that's pretty cool.
If you're fighting enemies and you're feeling overwhelmed at any time, you can just, like, lift off into the air and hover and just like shoot down on them and give yourself high ground. Like, there's a lot of really cool abilities that the Javelin has that make you feel like a fucking badass. It's great. The gunplay, like actually shooting a gun and shooting somebody, I wouldn't say feels as good as Destiny. It's not as great. Like, the feedback on like a rifle isn't
we're
like
talking
as great
BioWare
so far.
Bungie, though.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely feels more like Mass Effect at that. Like, it's just kind of like, bip. But like using your fucking rockets and like your launchers and your grenades,
all of the specials
jets,
that
like,
you have feel really good. Like, so, like to Technology's question from earlier, I only played as the Ranger, and I can't remember what the name of the other Javelin was called. It was the more speedy one.
Oh, Lance,
the Warlock.
No, Warlock is like the fucking elemental one. There's
no, not that.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember.
Someone in chat probably knows.
Someone in chat probably does. So anyway, that was the second one that I chose. The Interceptor. Yeah. So it's a lot faster, both like in flight and on the ground. You have a little less health, but the speed is kind of, you're supposed to get in and get out, and I think you actually do more melee damage. But yeah, and so it's like their like specials was like this like fucking, I don't know, almost like a Kroll. Like a little like disc you would throw and like hit enemies, and then just like some tracking like grenades that just shoot straight at enemies. But then like their special, instead of being that like kind of hover up in the air and lock onto your targets, was like a fucking no damage taken like melee mode, where you like fucking go into overdrive, like Ripper mode. You go into like Ripper mode. You pull out these giant blades, and you just start slashing all the enemies left and right, and fucking doing flips. And when you jump in the air, it does like a spin with your blades out.
Yeah, so
and there was times where I was fighting bosses, and you just go into that mode, you start doing shit tons of damage to like the boss. I was gonna say there was this one part where we're doing like a mission, and there's all these turrets, and you have to take out all these turrets. And if you walk up to the turret, it fucking destroys you. It does a shit ton of damage. You have to be very careful. But what I would do is I would like wait for my booster, or like my kind of ultimate to charge, and then come up, and I could take out like 3 turrets on my own in like 15 seconds, when normally shooting one will probably take me a good like minute just each with each. And it's just like it's pretty crazy how powerful that feels. And I think the problem is early on I was kind of like kind of trying not saving it, but it's like, well, there's no point. They all recharge given a little bit of time, and that's always my problem with any game. Like a fucking Final Fantasy game, by the end I have 10,000 potions because I'm like, what if I need it? So I don't use it, and that was kind of how I kind of started playing this early on. But I was like, dude, fuck it. Like, as soon as my thing's available, use it right away. Like, there's no point in saving it.
I mean, I'm sure there are going to be builds like focused around reducing cooldown and shit like that. But and that like all those abilities and everything, and from what I understand, can be switched out.
Oh, really?
Like you can start earning like different versions of different weapons.
Towards the end of
like
my playtime with it, because I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of free time over the weekend. I did unlock another ability that you could swap out. So it's not just like, oh, here's my ultimate, I'm going to use it. This character has this. You can get different types of like alternate weapons, and all of your weapons are customizable in and out. And then like so it was pretty cool that you could switch all of that.
It's
stuff.
all loot. It's all everything like that. I think the bedrock of the gameplay is really cool. It is still just like a giant question mark.
Still up in the air.
Like, I mean, this really might be a game where like only a few people play it at launch, and then like 6 months from now,
so like,
they like release an update, and everyone's like, okay, maybe this is.
Brad, real quick before, I just want to kind of comment on. We'd already talked about. The flying does feel amazing when you're flying from point A to point B. I know it's really cool that if you go into like a dive bomb, your engines will cool.
Does the world feel cool?
Yeah. I mean, so it's
very vertical.
It's very vertical. There's lots of cave systems that you'll end up flying through,
and it's really one of those like if you see it, you can just like go. Fly up to it.
My only problem I would say is I almost want to be in a world in that kind of one of those areas, not on a mission. Because it's like, oh god, okay, let's go to point A.
I'm sure
let's go to point B.
That's what the expedition is.
Yeah. But like, I want to just kind of like fucking explore a bit, just kind of wander around.
That's that you can already do. That.
Oh, you can.
Okay. So when you go, like in the base, they have the forge, which is where all your javelins are kept.
Yeah.
And you walk up to your javelin and hit X, and it opens a menu that's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to play a mission? Do you want to go run one of the raids or something, or do you want to just go expedition? And expedition is just they put you out in the world. And you can do shit to
find. Okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, there's a lot of shit to pick up in the base that you can't pick up because it's not in the game yet. So
Brucey says there's random dynamic events that happen when you're in that exploration mode.
That's pretty cool.
There would have to be.
I know. There would have to be. So I guess, like I said, I only played a few sessions, so I didn't get a chance to do that.
To clear up your earlier question, if this is like Destiny and how much like Destiny this is, it is Destiny.
I mean, I don't want to let that. I don't want to let that keep me from trying it. You know what I mean?
No, you should definitely try it. I think the actual like control experience and like the different suits and how differently they play are all great. And
are you going PS4? If you're
I'm going PS4. Yeah.
And Nolan, are you planning on trying?
I mean, that's what I have the code on. I don't know if I end up picking the game,
Here's
but I'll get
question.
it on. But
he was saying like, what if not that many people are playing at launch? Do you think this game is like probably too big to fail?
I think EA,
even if it comes out and it's like critically like, oh, this game's a fucking mess, it's like a 6.
I think
but
EA,
like that happened with like the Division and Destiny, like where people were like, these are kind of rocky, but like it doesn't matter because there's a certain portion of people who just
play
like
it regardless.
don't give a fuck about the small issues people have. And
you're talking about games though that actually performed well enough to get sequels, like that had communities that grew content.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
do you think Anthem could everyone could be on a podcast all around the world fussing about Anthem, but like it might already be too late to matter. Like, I mean, I'm saying like
I think
there might be enough hype surrounding this game, given that it's EA and BioWare and it looks really nice. Like, none of what we say fucking matters because people are gonna play it anyways. You know what
probably.
I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think
only time will tell, but yeah, probably
very true. I mean, I think if Destiny and the Division and I mean even Warframe, which is another game this game gets compared to a lot. I mean, all had really rocky launches and yet improved within their lifetimes. And Destiny already had a sequel that like did really well. Despite the fact that Destiny has like the most batshit insane pricing model ever, they still keep that game alive.
Yeah,
like they make people buy the game over again just to get expansions for it, and they still have a player base.
Yeah,
Warframe is lucky because they're free to play, so they're always gonna have a player base. The Division, I mean, Chris could probably tell you that they must have had at least enough content to convince him to invest 800 hours into it, and there are other people who play that game too.
I presume.
So I mean, I think to an extent you're right, Brad. I think Anthem at this point is already too big to fail, and I think EA has way too many eggs in this basket for them to just like look at the first month of play and go like, oh, we're not going to support this anymore and back out.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens with that. That game's coming soon, right? Is it February?
February 22nd.
So
Jesus,
yeah,
I didn't realize it was that soon.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that in a few weeks' time. So thank you guys for playing it. Talk about it. I'm pretty eager. I'm glad y'all talked about it because
I'm still on the fence about it.
Playing it.
Like I said, I'll probably play it again this weekend. If I have the free time, just to kind of get maybe I might do that exploration.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try for sure.
Kind of run around and stuff. It's just, in all honesty, those games aren't my cup of tea as of late.
See, this is like one of the it's early in the year. It's a new year, and I'm like, I want to this year. I want to try some things that I've outside my wheelhouse.
What about Monster Hunter?
It's on my list, bro. It's
they
on
did
my
a
shelf.
full week early access if you like bought the
that'll be
expensive
telling.
version.
Oh yeah,
that'll be telling. All right,
that's fun.
we need to move on.
Yep.
We have another big game to talk about. Of course, it is.
My game?
We'll get there, Nolan. We'll get there. I'm. You can't hold me back, Nolan, anymore. I'm dying.
That's fine.
I'm dying to talk about this.
I bet
Resident
you
Evil
are.
2 Remake. This is the game that inspired me to do this whole damn series run that I've been doing for the last 6 months
So now
on
you're
the
done playing
stream.
Resident Evils?
No, I am actually playing Resident Evil Revelations 2 this Friday, and then in 6, if I can convince somebody else to play it with me, like Nolan maybe, or Krispy. Krispy want to play Resident Evil 6?
Yeah. Can I play Chris?
In one of the campaigns, you can.
I don't know how that game works. But yeah.
Wonderful. Anyways, Resident Evil 2 Remake is out. It came out last week. I played.
Fuck Resident Evil 6.
I
saw like.
Let's not talk about Resident Evil 6.
I saw like GIF, and it was like one character like springing a trap on another character. Like some Nolan and Nick antics, and like I didn't even recognize one of the. There was a lady, and I like ladies in games. I feel like I had never seen her in my life.
I know.
And I played through her entire campaign.
I know what you mean. We're not here to talk about 6, though. We're here to talk about Resident Evil 2 Remake. It is out. I took this footage today. It's kind of perfect, because I'm sure we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that one thing this game does exceptionally well, or that kind of caught people off guard this week.
Which is that?
That would be,
Mr.
X. Yes. So this footage that you're watching, I'm literally running because I can hear his footsteps behind me, and I'm just like in sheer panic mode. So enjoy this. But yeah, it came out last week. I played through it on the feed Thursday night and Friday, and finished it on Friday night for scenario A. I started as Leon. Hey, what's going on?
Nothing.
I
Save
started
it for the break, Crispy.
Brad.
Leon.
You've been playing this as well. What you started as Claire?
Yes.
Okay.
Claire, of course.
And you finished. How much did you finish scenario A or?
No.
Okay.
I've not been able to.
How long are the scenarios?
I can't play this when Henry's awake.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's
Why
very,
not?
very violent and gory.
And
He's not going to remember. He's young.
to answer your question, Nolan, a scenario, depending on the first time playing through the scenario.
Sure.
Not to mention I was doing it on the stream.
I'm in the sewers right now.
Okay, you're like 2/3 of the way through. But depending on your, it took me about 7.5, 8 hours to do the first scenario.
Hey, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Do I go back to the police station at some point?
You don't, as part of like a requirement for the story, but there is a shortcut. Like there is like a Dark Souls-esque shortcut that takes you back.
I need to go back. I didn't get the club key.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, some of the doors, like there is a key you don't actually end up getting because you end up getting it as the other character in scenario B.
Oh, okay.
And that's the thing. Resident Evil 2, back in the day, what made it super unique was
Who was that? Was that Mr. X?
Yeah.
Mr. X.
I don't know anything about this game.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never...
I'll get there.
So one of the things I heard, or speaking of Mr. X, well, do you want to start
Hold
from the
on,
top?
Well, I want to quickly
well-
just kind of explain what made Resident Evil 2 has for a long time been one of my favorites in the series. It's one of the first games I played in the series. I love Resident Evil 2, and a lot of what made it really unique back in the day was the fact that you did play as two different characters. You go through as one character, and then you turn around and play it again as the other character, and it's kind of like they're going down different paths, and they're crisscrossing and stuff, and you see how one story affects the other. And they kind of do that here in this game, maybe to a little bit of a lesser extent.
Yeah.
But that, to be honest, if I had to find a gripe to kind of get out of the way when talking about this game, it would be that, like, so I played through Leon first, and then I booted it up and I started playing as Claire, and there is like a whole, so there's a helicopter crash, right? That happens when I was playing as Leon. It happens like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours into the playthrough. When you start up the second scenario, like, I see that helicopter crash, it happened in a cutscene, and then I'm playing. Like, that's the beginning. And it's kind of like, so it kind of just, like, breezes through like a bunch of stuff that I played in the first scenario, which I thought was kind of a bummer. In the first game, they literally take a more, what approach you would expect, where it's kind of like everything that's playable in scenario A, you can also play in scenario B, but slightly different. And it's not really the case in this one.
Okay.
And as a result, I think scenario B is ultimately going to end up being a much shorter experience.
And more samey than it was.
And more samey than it was.
The thing is,
the big difference
in the original game, the tyrant wasn't...
The tyrant didn't even... Mr. X...
Episode
I don't know
B.
what that means.
Mr. X.
Mr. X.
Okay, so
the persistent dude who's chasing you around.
Okay, so if you've been online at all this weekend and people have been...
back,
I know.
I still know what y'all are talking about.
Wait,
Mr.
aren't
X
there zombies in this game?
You're killing me, Crispy. You're killing... Mr. X is the tyrant type.
What does that mean?
He's a big dude you can't
He's
kill,
a
and he keeps
fucking
following
asshole.
you
The dude
throughout the whole police station.
The dude,
Okay.
the dude in the big trench coat that you'll see frequently coming after me in this footage is literally, and I didn't even, as for all the stuff that I've kind of been reading about and researching in this game, I didn't know how persistent this character would be, but he literally shows up in the first scenario, surprise, like on a whim, and he follows you everywhere. And because this is not like the classic Resident Evil, where if Resident Evil, you go in the first one, you would open a door and it would do like a loading screen, right?
Yeah.
You would load into another room. Everything in this room is everything is persistent. It exists all the time. So you walk through a door, it is immediate. You walk from one room to the next, there is no loading.
Yeah.
And that means zombies and enemies exist in rooms that you're not in.
Yeah.
And when Mr. X is after you, he's walking around and he's huge and he has really heavy feet, and you can hear his and you can kind of tell like distance-wise where he is in relation to you when you're walking around, and it's fucking terrifying.
You ever seen The Terminator?
No. What's that?
Like the original one?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the Terminator.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
He fucking like the reason in this footage, like I'm literally just running and it looks like I'm like running like I'm darting past zombies. I'm not stopping to do puzzles. I'm like running past things of interest. It's because I can hear him walking up behind me the entire time, and that's like the one thing. Like I feel like so in the first scenario I got through it, and he followed me for quite a while, and then you get to a kind of a point in the story where you can tell he's kind of maybe out of the picture for a while, so you don't have to worry about it. He showed in scenario B, he showed up in a different place I wasn't expecting, and like there's all these things that I know I still have to do that in the first scenario I had done without having to worry about Mr. X.
Why are you so close?
And I didn't realize I was gonna have that effect on me. Sorry, but in scenario B, like all these puzzles that I kind of know how to solve because I did them in scenario A. I'm having to do them, but also knowing that like I have to get far enough. I gotta get enough distance between me and Mr. X.
Is Mr. X not in scenario A?
He is, but like he shows up later.
Okay.
And he's still persistent, but like you eventually get to a pretty hard cut part in the story where he's out of the picture for a while.
Gotcha.
So, scenario A and scenario B, are they like alternate universe events of what's happening?
No,
Or
they
they're
are
happening-
literally the characters meet at the beginning, they get separated, and like they run concurrently.
So they're both happening at the same time.
They're both happening.
So why do you have to keep solving the same puzzles?
That's the
See,
thing.
A and B in the original game were more different than they are in
And
this game.
and again, that is like the one gripe I think I have at
To
this
the
game.
point where I think
That's Mr.
people
X.
shouldn't have given that IGN dude as much shit as they did. Because honestly,
What IGN do?
wow.
IGN did a review of this game, and then they found out he only
they
played two
did
scenario
A and
A.
A. They did
Oh, yeah,
scenario
he-
A and scenario A.
What does that mean?
Instead of scenario
Okay,
A and scenario
let me
B.
explain something because
The fuck are y'all
okay,
talking
no one's not on. Okay, sorry, I talk about this and sometimes
What's this
I forget.
called again?
God damn it, guys! You're freaking me out.
No,
man.
go ahead.
Okay, Resident Evil 2 has two playable characters.
Yeah, Leon.
Depending
and
on which one you play first, that is
the
your
girl.
scenario A.
Yes.
When you play it
Play it.
again, you do a second run. You're playing scenario B of the opposite character.
Okay.
If you go and play it a third time, you can do scenario A as the other character, and it plays out slightly different there as well.
Okay.
Also,
Okay.
they had a system in the original where if you like picked up certain items with one character, they're not going to be there for scenario B.
another, yeah.
So you could be potentially making scenario A a little bit easier, but scenario B could be a little hampered.
And
So-
that's commonly referred to as the zapping system.
Yeah.
And to answer your question in chat, grab a beer. No, the zapping system does not exist in
Which
this
is
game, which is
another thing.
which is kind of a bummer.
Okay, so A and B do not correspond to the characters.
No,
They do.
I
Well,
mean, it depends on which. You can play them in any order.
Yeah,
Okay,
You
so
can
if you do scenario A with one character, you do scenario B with the other character, or you can reverse that order.
Correct.
In which case, you're talking about like two alternate versions of events.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
But
it's more or less the same
but
shit.
like here's the thing. And oh sorry, Chris Davis has something he wants to say.
Yeah,
You wanna-
his mic's been hot since he put up.
Sorry,
that
I'm
icon.
not used to I was like, I don't
Chris
notice
Davis,
the
what's
naughty
up?
thing.
I mean, I was just gonna jump in on several things.
Okay.
For example, the thing you have to realize about Mr. X, Nolan, is that he's an enemy in this game you cannot kill.
Yeah,
He's always walking around the map. You can stun him
But that's
and
always
get him
ammo.
to stop chasing you for a little bit.
he's also
but he's
attracted
just going
to
to get
noise.
back up and keep coming.
He's
at
attracted to noise.
So
if
I'm
you
trying to-
shoot, if you sprint, he'll hear you, and you'll hear the footsteps. You'll hear doors slam open, and you'll know, okay, I gotta move.
The scariest thing I think is like when you think he's approaching a door that you're on the other side of, and then the door opens, and he's so big he has to duck under the door frame, and like he puts his hand on the top and like pulls himself through. It's horrifying, man.
So why is Mr. X?
You want to know the story reason?
I mean,
I can.
It's Resident Evil, so it's probably stupid.
well, yeah.
I mean, he's a creature that was created by Umbrella to track down people who are considered witnesses of this horrible
He's a
thing.
cleaner.
Yeah, he's a cleaner. He's
They
there to
made
kill
a different
survivors.
monster to clean up the people seeing their other monsters they made.
Yeah.
Then
Dude.
what was the point of Operation Raccoon City?
Okay,
Let's not talk about that game. Let's not talk.
Yeah,
about
let's not talk
Okay,
about that.
so anyway, Chris Davis. So what else? What else did you want to chime in on?
Well, I was gonna mention.
windows,
So
dude, I love them.
I beat Claire second run last night.
Okay.
I did Leon first run, Claire second run.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And in my experience, Claire or the second scenario starts out more intense. They throw more at you.
They
early
do,
on.
but they skip a whole playable section of the game.
But then, yeah, I mean, that's very limited the amount of that they skip there.
Not really, dude.
I mean,
I was like I said, I was playing for like a whole hour before I got to the helicopter crash, and in the beginning of Claire's scenario B, the helicopter crashes in a cutscene, and that's like pretty much right after they give you control of the character.
yeah, but I was gonna say that when you get about halfway through the second scenario,
By the way,
like
somebody told me there's something that that changes quite dramatically in scenario B that I don't know if I want you to spoil if that's what you're about to do.
Towards
Well, no, I'm
the
not going to
ending,
spoil
right?
what it is, but in my opinion, it relieves a lot of the difficulty of the run. So it feels much easier.
Towards the end of the run.
Yes.
Okay.
And they also backload some extra stuff at the end to offset like the beginning where they cut out.
Okay.
content.
They do take you to a new area when you play as Claire. Which
Okay,
Yes.
so another question.
Okay.
You said that IGN played Scenario A and Scenario A.
Yeah, they did
What?
Leon A, Claire A. They didn't.
They were confused
Which
after
is
they
the-
beat the first run. What you select to start scenario B, and they ended up starting Leon's scenario A, kind of like a fresh game, but just with the other character.
Okay.
And
the
if
events
you
are
don't do that, then you don't. So like at the end of scenario B, you get like an ending, kind of.
Sure.
Like that doesn't happen at the end of scenario A.
Gotcha.
So if you play two scenario A's, you don't even really get the ending of the game.
Also, depending on which character, like Claire and Leon both encountered, kind of have separate stories where they
Yeah.
encounter two very distinctly different people.
Well, it doesn't matter A or B. Claire's
Well, no,
always gonna.
Leon is always going to meet Ada,
Yeah.
and Claire is always going to meet Chief Irons and Sherry. And
I
like,
will say,
if you play scenario,
Sherry sucks. I mean, they did kind of a unique scenario. I'm not going to spoil it for Sherry in this game, and I thought it was kind of lame.
okay, well that's I haven't gotten there yet.
But kind of the cool thing also about having these two different characters, you also get different perspectives about characters that they both meet. So there's a character that you meet about halfway through the game that it just appears a lot different in how they talk and their mannerisms as opposed to how they appear in the other character.
That's good to know. I haven't gotten to the point yet where I've met characters from the other scenario. You have a question, Crispy? Or no?
Actually, I'll make one up right now.
Please don't make it a.
was
Resist
kind of-
the urge,
Should I play this game?
dude.
Yeah, sure,
dude,
sure.
we haven't talked about this game. Everything this game does right, which is the level design is fucking incredible.
Well, the level design is like classic Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's class. I mean, which
Does
is
the whole
for
game
me
take
like
place inside the police station?
no. You go outside of the police station at points, but the
A large
bulk of the game
portion.
takes place in the police station. Then you go
Okay.
beyond it. But yes, when I say it's fucking incredible, it is like this is the Resident Evil that I
That
miss.
you always thought Resident Evil was?
This is the Resident Evil that I miss. This is like when I always talk about how I like 4, but I'm kind of bummed about what 4 has turned Resident Evil into. It's the fact that it made it not this. So like
The structure.
yes, the structure and how
Where you're in like a police station or a mansion, if you will. for a long period of time. You're unlocking doors through special keys. You're solving puzzles.
It was less haunted
back
house.
and forth. No, this is more haunted house.
No, I'm saying Resident Evil 4 was less haunted.
Yes,
house.
that was more
exactly.
set piece driven.
More
if
haunted
you've played like
castle.
Evil Within, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just sort of like set pieces pushing you forward.
Yeah.
New environments constantly.
4 is very linear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But it has like big open spaces that you'll spend a lot.
And
of
this
time.
is
very
this has
good
you
linear.
constantly like trying to remember the layout of the police station in your head. You're learning things. You're taking note of where you saw this safe, where you found this item. You pick up something. You're like, oh, where did this go? Oh, and they've improved certain things in this remake
the
that I think
fucking map.
the map is incredible.
It's so good in this game.
When you run into a room and you see an item but you don't pick it up, it marks it on the map.
Even
and
if
it
you
tells
don't even
exactly what
notice
it is.
Oh, it's
it'll
awesome.
it'll show up on the map.
Oh,
and
that's great.
it'll say if there's
If you got everything in the room, it'll be blue instead of red.
yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
like
very like completionist.
super
The doors, even the windows, you can board up to keep zombies from coming through. That'll show up on your map.
And one of the thing that like kind of blew me away the most about this game is that like when you kill a zombie in this game, it fucking stays there.
That's the best part.
Like
That's
the
the best
first zombie I ever killed in this police station was there until the very fucking. I would run past him like hundreds of times.
That's awesome.
Every other
always there.
Resident Evil game, they just like
disappear after a while.
But like it's so important to zombie horror
Right.
that the body stays
That
there.
you're just like surrounded by all these.
And you
fucking
never know
corpses.
is it gonna
Is it gonna
sometimes-
get
You don't
back
know
up.
if it's a new one.
Exactly.
Do
And
they
some-
have those
I mean-
ones like they had in the Resident Evil remake?
No, the Crimson Heads.
The Crimson Heads. So
They
yeah,
just
that was my distinct kind of sort of fear when I saw that zombie bodies persisted, and all bodies persisted, including the lickers and
not,
the
not
other
to
enemies
mention,
that you encounter.
Not to mention the bodies
party
stay there. So if you kill a zombie, quote unquote, you kill a zombie. There are plenty of times where you'll shoot a zombie and you think it's dead and it'll stay down and you can run by it like
And
5
then
or 10
it'll
times,
get up
and then
again?
sometimes it'll just be like "Ugh," and just get out and you're like what the fuck.
Yeah.
Also,
What? No, that's not okay.
also headshots are not like are not like you shoot. I can shoot a zombie like 6 times in the head before it finally goes down.
So, wow.
Yeah, but it's really hard
Also,
to run past zombies.
my
in this
favorite
one, though.
strat, like the thing that kind of makes this so intense, like my strategy, because this is a survival horror game, they definitely withhold ammo for you pretty severely. Like I got to the point where my strategy was to shoot them in their like knees until their leg falls off, so that all they can do is crawl
But
around.
that can be dangerous though.
It
Because
can be.
when you're running back through an area.
Especially when
You'll
you're,
lose
See 'em?
track of them, and
and you have to kind of remember who, like, which one is dead or which one might just be kind of like resting. You know what I mean? Like, like is it gonna crawl after me if I go near it? It's like that's just really cool. They've also kept certain things that were like that they've introduced in 4 and 5, like the sub weapons. Like if a zombie grabs you, if you have a grenade,
Well, that
or
was a
knife.
remake thing.
Yeah, well the
interesting,
oh yeah, I guess they did the grenades in
Yeah.
remake as well. So okay,
and
you're right,
no,
you're right.
and the knives and the
I knew
taser.
about the knives.
The
I
new
remember
thing
the
about
knives.
the knife in this one is they're breakable,
Yeah, so
which makes me wonder how a knife only
So-
one works.
so here's a scenario that I really like and that happens quite often in this game. Like so the knives have they have wear and tear and they have little icons. So as you're slashing dudes, you'll see it slowly going down. If you shoot it, if you stab it into a zombie and then shoot the knife while it's stuck in them, it'll shatter. But like if you stab a zombie to like stun them and then like shoot them in the head until they die, you can go back and pick up the knife and keep going. But there's been plenty of times where I've been panicked because I'm running from Mr. X and a zombie grabs me. I stab them in the fucking head and then I'm like, I'm leaving the knife and I just run.
Yeah.
And you can come back and you can get the knife back
it
later.
later.
Like
That's cool.
Dude,
That's really cool.
it's so
I
persistent.
hate when they get you from behind.
But yeah,
So-
You
another
can't use
thing
your
you have to realize, and people have been discovering a lot of things about this game in just the past couple days. One of the things about it is that the damage you do in the game is based on your frame rate at the time. So if you're playing a PC, you
I'm
can
not.
actually do a lot of damage with the knife.
But, like,
if
that's-
you just have a
that's-
high enough frame rate.
That's like
bug.
that's cheating. You know, that's
That-
Wait,
so it's not a bug.
That's
PS4,
master race.
I'm
It's the
doing
way-
less damage.
But that's the thing, though. It's not a bug.
This is
It's how they
classist
program the
bullshit.
game.
PC
you
master
can't
race.
change that.
Well,
Well, I mean that,
Durante
but that's
can
not
fix
like
it.
integral to the experience. That's just something that
that's a fuck up.
that's a fuck up that people have found.
Well, I
Which is unfortunate.
I saw a video yesterday of a guy taking on William Birkin, the first encounter with him.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, you fight the main boss from the original Resident Evil 2 in Resident Evil 2.
I don't even know who that is.
So yeah, he's
The dude with the
he
big
just-
eyeball.
He just
if you've
fucking
seen him.
stun
Oh, on
locked
the
him by
shoulder?
constantly
Yeah, I was
striking
actually
him with a
watching
knife.
Pocop fight him.
Like
Pokop was
he
streaming,
just stood in one spot and just stun locked him and just kept slashing him and killed him without any effort. It was like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Just because he had a higher frame
But
rate.
that like ruins the fucking experience. Don't do that shit. But
You shoot off their arms, they can't
No,
open
no, no,
doors.
no. What happened was
They
there was
can't knock down
a
doors.
memory leak, and so he actually did less damage and he attacked less often. That's what it was.
so that's where my footage ended. I was like, that's a good place to end my footage, because
You died.
dude. First of all, I've noticed in the scenario, but at least in the very beginning, like I ran into Mr. X. I played this game for 10 hours in the first 24 hours that it was out. I played it through its entirety on the stream. I kind of got to the point where I was used to Mr. X, and I was like, he makes me nervous.
And you learn the safe spots.
Yeah, which is really only like when you go into like a save room. And one thing I noticed,
the save
Well,
rooms
it's more
weren't
than
safe.
that.
Well, no,
There's more places than that.
okay, you're right. There's a few places where he won't go, but like if you go into a save room,
The women's bathroom?
like the lights are off. If you turn the lights on in the save room, the save music starts, and I think that's like where it becomes safe. I don't know. It's weird, but the main hub area of when you play through the first
the
scenario,
hallway?
the main hall,
The main
of
hall,
the
yeah.
police station is typically considered a very safe place. You
Yeah.
you kind of branch off of it, and there's zombies. When you come back to it, you feel very safe.
Yeah.
So
The first time I ran back there thinking I was safe, and he came through a door and was in the main hall with me next to a save point, I was like, "Fuck this."
There was one point where I was running around the main hall. Mr. X was there. Marvin with no legs was there. And another random lady that came out from the library was there. And it was just a disaster.
Yeah, it's so like zombies will follow you through doors. It's so good.
I didn't want to.
I also want
Man.
to give props because I know Resident Evil as a series gets a lot of shit for being cheesy, corny, whatever. Not very doesn't take it.
I don't
it
think
doesn't.
it's a lot of shit for that.
I mean, what I'm gonna say is I think the acting, the voice acting, the character act, like the mocap, and like just in general the presentation, while it still has
it's good.
it has those quirks, like it has like the weird thing, like why is Ada wearing heels and sunglasses indoors all the time, like that kind of weird shit. But like everything else, like
Michelle Gellar looks so strange.
the animation, the voice acting, the mocap is top fucking notch. It's incredible. Like, and all those moments from like the original that I remember very fondly and love, they're all there. They all look amazing, and they all put their nice little spin on this game. Is really great because there are so many moments in it where it feels very familiar. I can walk into a room and be like, I remember this game, this room from the original. I remember the layout. This is identical. You walk through a door and you're like, well, this is new. Like, and it kind of walks that line beautifully.
Interesting.
And
So wait,
I don't like the new Claire.
I really like
she's
the new
fine.
Claire so far.
And
what you're saying
clips
is
seem a little
in
weird
this the
sometimes.
year of our Lord 2019, I should play Resident Evil 1 and 2 remake.
I mean,
Yeah, absolutely,
yes.
dude. I
You
think
should
Resident Evil
play
1 and
a lot of these games.
One
and
is a
2
classic.
1 and 2 remake, I think it blows my mind that they've remade 2 games in the series so far, and I think both of the remakes, in my opinion, personally, are probably better than the originals that they're remaking. It's pretty nuts. Also, the whole like the liquors are terrifying. They do the thing, Brad, that you always talk about that I wholeheartedly agree with you on, where they introduce enemies to you, not in a cutscene, but just like you walk around a corner, you hear a
Mr.
noise, and you
X,
see something, and you're like,
That's just
what
the way
the
to
fuck?
do it.
Like the first time they introduce Mr. X to you, there's no fucking warning. You turn a corner, and he's right there, and you're like, what the fuck?
Like that's another thing about this game is that enemies in this game, none of them are a joke.
Yeah,
Like,
even
zombies, you're
are
dead in 3 hits. Lickers, they can almost insta kill you.
Yeah. I always like moments where you shove a grenade or a flash grenade in their mouth and you just pull your gun out and like blind fire at them, and it just like it goes off like super satisfying. Everything feels really good in this game, and not to like it has like everything that I loved about
Except the doors.
It has everything that I loved about the original. They've improved the level design and all that stuff, but it also has the controls and the animation that kind of made 4, 5, and 6 like so, or maybe 4 and 5 like so like it like the camera angles, the way the characters move. Like I love that you can move and shoot.
It doesn't quite feel as like tight as those games, but that's fine considering the pace of this. They're trying to go for more of a horror thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that it's a different engine.
Yeah,
Well, one of
yeah.
the things I really liked about those games was just how much contextual stuff there was just for interacting with the things in the environment and getting around the environment. You know, like just jumping over things, climbing over things,
Yeah.
jumping out windows. You know, the way doors worked.
Doors are a little-
everything felt more like physical in those games.
Doors are a little weird in this game because they all of them open both ways.
They're like fucking saloon doors.
Yeah, they're saloon doors.
And it kind of hurts that experience a little bit because Resident Evil has always had a thing about doors.
Yeah.
You know, obviously when there were load screens, it was almost like a tension thing. But you know, in 4 and 5 and maybe 6 as well, or like Revelations, like they were definitely this thing that you could open slowly or fucking kick in and knock zombies down.
And this one you just
Here,
walk
they're
into
just
it.
little saloon doors, and it's really awkward when you have a zombie on the other side of the door because it's just like, excuse me, sir, you know, you can't like kick it in and knock them down.
Oh,
It's
really?
Just, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's strange that they fucked it up, but I think it has a lot to do with, you know, how it was in Resident Evil 7, right? Like that was
I also think they wanted
first-person
to.
game.
I think they wanted to make. I think it might also have something to do with the balancing around running from Mr. X too, because like
Yeah,
he is very
that's possible.
he can close that distance between you like very quickly,
Yeah.
and they want to make it so that you have a chance of getting away from him. I could be wrong,
But it's to the point when like zombies are trying to get through doors and they're banging on it for a while, and you're just like, it's not that hard to get through that door.
I might be misremembering, but I think in the Outbreak games, I think you could actually block the doors by pushing your body up against them.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That would be
Yeah.
cool. That would be cool here. I think the doors are maybe the one
really
area
cool.
like design wise
Yeah,
that maybe
strange.
they flubbed a little bit here, but for the most part, everything
Oh,
else.
and
here
I will
is
say
super,
this is
super,
a little
super
bit of a nitpick, but I really wish that the UI, they did more with the UI. To like have maybe some more nods to Resident Evil 2, like a little more classic.
I do think it's very clean.
But it's like the same as 7.
It is
Like it's
it is very
visually
7.
the same as 7, and it's like it doesn't seem like you have to put a lot of work into it to make it look and feel distinct. And you know, out of all of the fucking like inventories in any Resident Evil, you know, 7 does a lot of things right, but I think its inventory system is probably like the least memorable, to be completely honest. Why did it do that when he's actively on it?
I don't know.
think I didn't move the mouse for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it was probably just a conscious like time decision there, because I mean, like, this game was announced 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and all this content had to be built. You know, if you could just take content from 7 that already works and works well.
yeah. It's
you know,
probably it's probably like if it's not
no
if it's
issue
not
with it.
broke,
Yeah,
don't
no,
fix
but we're-
don't
yeah,
fix
we're
it kind of
talking
thing.
about UI.
I know. Point made.
I mean, they already have like elements of that UI, like the health bar that pops up.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
it doesn't detract from the
that's-
experience.
it didn't hurt it. No, it
it could have
doesn't.
used maybe a slight
It's a
upgrade.
nitpick, but you know,
Yeah.
make it blue or
Something.
Like the nitpick I would have is like a spoiler for some of the level design later in the game.
Wait, what?
Okay, well then,
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
let's
don't
not spoil
don't
that.
spoil
I'm
that.
not going to spoil it.
All right, let's.
I will say this game probably the best escape sequence of all the RE games.
Oh yeah, like all of the moments at at the end where you're running against the timer to try and get out.
yeah,
is
this
pretty,
is probably the best.
it's pretty damn good. Anyways, we've talked enough about Resident Evil 4 now. I fucking love
have
this
we?
game. Thank you to everyone who tuned in on my stream on Friday. I had a hell of a fun time playing with you guys.
And you could play with the RE2, the originals. Soundtrack
Yeah, I am
If you
doing
get the DLC,
I got the deluxe box that had
I see.
everything in it. That
Or
by the way,
you
that
could spend
statue
$2.99 to get the soundtrack.
Yeah.
that I know, but that statue that came in the collector's edition is legit.
What is the statue?
It's a Leon statue, but like it is like you could beat someone to death with it. It is like super sturdy. Like his belt is actually made of like a fabric that like hangs on his thing, and it has like a flashlight and a gun, and his face is painted on well. I know a lot of people were asking about that. Like it's a legit nice mantelpiece. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I
Anyway,
would say the one problem with playing with the original soundtrack is that in this game there are those transition moments in this
Where it doesn't-
base
it doesn't
soundtrack
have an
where
equivalent?
it doesn't work well. Like when Mr. X suddenly appears, the music doesn't really transition to let you know, oh shit, he spotted you. You need to fucking run.
yeah, it doesn't have like an equivalent from the old soundtrack. But you know what? The old soundtrack is still fucking phenomenal. I played through the scenario A with the remake soundtrack. I'm doing scenario B with the classic soundtrack. Just
Two
because
of
I
those are my favorite
still
save room music.
still love that soundtrack. Anyways, we need to take a break. When we come back, we have another game to talk about. We have some news topics, and of course, we will answer questions from supporters on Patreon. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere.
Speaking of beautiful, Nolan,
What's up, Brad?
you've been playing
Wait, are we doing this?
Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. This is the podcast.
Oh, shit. Thank you for bringing us back.
So yes, I had been playing Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, and spoiler alert, if I hadn't already recorded my top 10, it would be on it.
Oh, shit.
Which sucks, but whatever. Yes, so I finally got around to playing Monster Boy. It's one of those things where late in the year it's literally on my one of my top most regretted games before I even started. I knew I was gonna love it.
It was a late game. It was December, right?
November? December 6th or something like that. It was, but still. And so I got it on my Switch, and I did that on purpose, and I probably played at least 80% of this game laying down in bed.
Yeah.
And it is a delightful game to play in bed.
Yeah,
Any Metroid
Much
game
like Hollow
is.
Knight's a delightful game to play in bed.
And so, just by the way, this footage you are seeing is late in the game. I'm not going to say it's spoilery, because it's not like any of the transformations are spoilers. They're kind of
They're all in the intro.
All in the intro and on the game case.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's not.
You mean in terms of the monsters that you
Yeah, it's not a surprise that you turn into a lion or a dragon. You know it. But yeah, so this game is delightful. It is a delightful Metroidvania. The music's fantastic.
Yeah, today was when I was watching you record this, was my first chance to actually hear the music, because I
Dude, just look at this shop. Yeah. Look at this fox guy, and like everything is just similar to Hollow Knight. The art style is just great. I was severely I knew I'd originally played this at PAX fucking 3 years ago or something when they first demoed it, and I was like, oh, this game looks pretty good. And it only looks even better now.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful fucking game.
Dude, they got the fucking what is that? Shadow of the Complex speed run. You can run on water and stuff.
Did you say Shadow of the Complex?
Yeah, Shadow of the Complex.
Shadow Complex?
Yeah,
The music has both Yuzo Koshiro tracks and Michiru Yamane tracks.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're great tracks.
Yeah, so some
those must be some talented dudes.
If you're ever in an area and it starts sounding like Symphony of the Night,
okay.
That's Yam.
But yeah, so Brad beat this game too. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm right at the end, but it's one of those scenarios where I know there's a bunch of shit for me to still kind of collect, and so I'm trying to do some of that before
that moment at the end of any Metroidvania where
you don't want it to end
in the game than you realize.
Oh, no, I know I'm pretty close to the end.
So don't push it too far if you really do want to get some more stuff.
I know there's probably the last section that I haven't been to. I'm pretty sure that's the final section.
How long do you think you've been playing this so far?
Ooh, I wish Switch did a better job of keeping track of time.
No joke.
I got pretty close to 100%, and for me, it was about 25 hours.
Okay.
I would say I'm probably close to there. Yeah. But yeah, so the thing I wanted to talk about in this game is, first of all, it's not easy. It looks like it looks like a baby game, because whatever.
Not a baby
it
game.
is not. It is difficult as shit. I die a lot. I find myself failing platforming challenges and having to retry. Thankfully, the game's pretty good.
Oh, are you doing this for the first time?
Yes.
Oh, you fucking cheater! This was a pain in the ass. But yeah, you get forms that make shit trivial.
Yeah. So in this one originally, if you had gone here, there's some lightning platforms. You have and when you're the pig is the first character you turn into, and he's kind of I don't say a joke character, but his attacks only go out fucking 2 inches in front of you.
He's not much of an offensive
but
character.
He does have magic. The thing is, your magic is limited. So you have fire, you have wind, you have what else do you have? You have thunder, a lightning attack. Your tornado thing.
You have your boomerang.
Boomerang, and then
which
there's one
seems so
more.
powerful at first.
Yeah,
you only had one, but
bombs.
You could catch it.
Yeah, and so in this thing, and actually when I leave this room you'll see it, but what happened was there's all these platforms and they have spikes on them, so you have to use the thunder, the lightning, to flip them over and kind of traverse, but you'll have to kind of and so
they only stay flipped for a certain amount of time.
Correct. And so the reason I didn't do it early on, Brad, was because I remember when I was here I just didn't have enough lightning on me, and so I was like, oh, I'll come back later, and I just completely forgot about it.
But then when you come back you have a dude with wings.
But now I have a guy that can fly, so it makes it trivial. But yeah, you can see that kind of you have to.
Does that not become a balancing issue?
No.
No, well, I mean, it's a pretty late game form.
Yeah, that form I got just recently.
But I mean, it's like that in Symphony of the Night, right? Yeah. Where you have the double jump, you can get that, but later you just turn into a bat, which trivializes a lot of the platforming stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's just.
But yeah, like Brad was saying, it's one of I got the ability to fly, 4/5 or 8/10 of the way through the game. Like it's pretty far.
That's 4/5.
I know. I just wanted to make sure you understood.
Not just that, but when you first get this form, he can only fly like briefly.
Yes. So for the
So all your forms they like upgrade. And
so
stuff as
like
you
my
play.
my dragon form is in its ultimate ability now. When you first get him, you can only fly for a short period of time. You have like a stamina. But now I got him upgraded, so he has infinite flight. Which, don't get me wrong, that does not make this game trivial. Like, just the ability to fly does not make platforming elements. It makes some things easier.
Something.
But it does not make, like, certain segments where you are forced to transform into other characters because you can only be the snake to go through the section or whatever. So sometimes you have to transform out of that form.
Plus, I love running around as the line. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, your charge ability and stuff.
fast.
Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, that's the cool thing is, you know, the whole concept is you're transformed and you're limited in what you can do. And the farther you progress in the game, you unlock new abilities, you know, like any Metroidvania.
There's secrets and stuff.
Oh my
it's
God,
so
there's so
good.
many secrets.
And the rewards you get for all the secrets are like good rewards. You're getting these upgrade gems to upgrade your equipment, and the equipment's
And
really
all
good
of
in
the
this
equipment
fucking
is so
game.
fucking
and it's all
different.
so different. You know, it's like
You get boots that let you double jump. Which early on is a big deal. You
Yeah.
get boots that let you like turn water into ice,
Yeah.
or turn like lava into like it solidifies it so you can walk on it.
Yeah.
You get like shields that will bounce certain like elements off of them. You get swords that, you know, if you get a fire sword and if you pair that with a certain like bracelet or something, when you're at full health you can shoot fire beams, and similar with the ice sword.
So you can shoot fire beams when you're at
Full health.
Full health, but then if you get the whole set bonus from upgrading all the pieces, you restore your health by walking.
Yeah.
So you get to that full health easier, right? So
Yeah.
there's clever stuff like that, like the set with the poison dagger will, if you have a full set, it'll create a chance for any enemy to spawn rainbow.
Which I've
drop.
not gotten yet, which is frustrating, and that's what I'm trying right now.
Oh, you're
I'm trying to to farm rainbow drops, but I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I mean, at some point.
I know, it's
I didn't
fine.
really need them anymore.
And I don't know if I do either, but it's just more of like a, hey, I'm powerful enough that it doesn't really matter. But anyway, so yeah, all these different abilities, all these different sets. There's some really cool stuff. And like Brad was saying, you have set like bonuses if you get all of them, but you don't need to. And so early on, you're definitely like mixing and matching and just trying to use whatever your most powerful set is. Unless you're the pig, because the pig and the snake can't use any equipment.
Yeah.
They're just literally like, the pig, his thing is he can sniff and reveal secrets.
I saw you
use
messing
his-
around with that
Yeah,
earlier.
and then use his magic, and then the snake can fit through the small areas and crawl on like moss on like roofs and top. And
It
stuff
all
like
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah. And so you can see right now I'm actually getting through this area really easy because I have this flying ability, and it's whatever.
The world is filled with like really creative like platforming challenges and like tricky combat and like secrets that are
Brad, how do I
legitimately
get this?
hard to figure
How
out.
do I fucking get this? I can't figure this shit out. How do I get that little gold piece?
Boomerang.
Really?
Yeah, I
thought
think so.
God
I think
damn
so.
it. I thought I tried it.
Yeah.
I tried the frog tongue. Damn it.
Oh,
Really?
That's the
classic.
thing. Like some of that stuff.
I tried to
really
crit
be
a war
stuck.
point in there. I was like, can I do it? But no, you
I think
can't.
that's one of the boot pieces.
God damn it.
Yeah.
So anyway, like Brad was saying, so like this game is so full of secrets that you pass so much. Like you'll think you've completely explored an area. Fuck you. You've missed like 10 things in that area.
And there are some like you like late in the game you can buy these things called rainbow drops, which will, if you use a rainbow drop at a certain like shopkeeper, he will show where on the map a secret is, and a little question mark will appear that'll say there's a secret room here. And like even with that, there were some
oh
of
my
them
God.
that I just
Did you get the one in the sewer with the ghost?
Dude,
It
that
took me
was
forever to figure that one out.
yeah. No, I think I looked that one up. But there was one where like in the lava area where I was just staring at this secret room and I just could not.
Was it the one that was in the roof or whatever?
How to get in there? Yeah, that one.
Dude, so yeah, like they hid shit so well in this
This
game.
is a really well made
Um,
Metroidvania.
Oh yeah.
Y'all putting this up there with Hollow Knight?
Well, I mean, Hollow Knight's special in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely put this up there with the genre's greats.
Yes.
Like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
It is.
I prefer this to
It-
Ori, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes.
I think I might too. Like, if you like Metroidvanias, this is one to play. For
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
Man, that sounds like I love Ori.
Dude, it's great. I mean, you saw like every once in a while when I've pulled up the map so far. The map's huge too.
Yeah.
It's not a small game.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think this is up there with stuff like Ori, like Guacamelee.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
and the
God, there's been some great Metroidvanias the past few years.
like I was saying, like the thing is, you're kind of seeing me navigate the world differently, and it's because I'm going back and looking for secrets. I'm trying to find the stuff now that I have the dragon, so it's easier to fly around. But early on, like you don't really do that. I mean, you're stuck in certain forms that can only traverse in certain ways, and you don't have certain abilities, so you clearly know like, oh, I can't interact with this thing yet, and you die fairly easy early on. Like you see how many heart pieces I have?
Yeah.
Honestly, when I got to this dragon form, I probably had like 7 less heart pieces than I do.
So the heart pieces remind me a lot of Zelda.
Oh, it's definitely a Zelda.
So
like,
is it work the same way where you pick up like pieces of them?
No, you just pick up a
No.
whole container.
Okay. Whole container.
There are definitely odes and homages to Zelda and other old school games. They definitely aren't trying to hide the fact that they are fans of those series.
Zelda and Mario, like there's homages to those all over.
But yeah, so early on, I have like 7 or 8 heart pieces total. There are enemies who will do like one and a half damage to you, and so like 3 hits, 4, you're dead. And like it is surprisingly easy to die in this game. The save like systems aren't like horribly placed, but it's like one of those things where you have to remember where I last saved and kind of be careful. Later on, you'll
save often.
Oh,
I died a lot in like the haunted mansion.
Oh, dude, the haunted mansion. That place was like that was a crazy maze of
I
like.
loved it. There's so many like puzzles and tricks and stuff. I spent a lot.
How much is this game?
40.
40. But that's. For
I
the
mean, I know
physical
it's probably
version.
worth the 40. I'm just saying.
I mean, but you could buy like a physical copy. This is just. This is a video game.
Yeah. This is not like a baby game. This is not like a small like little. This is like a full fledged like.
It is pricey when you have something like Hollow Knight that's only like.
Which I still haven't finished. Hollow Knight.
$15.
It's one of those things.
I mean, yeah,
I don't want to start another Metroidvania until I've.
But dude,
cross
the
finish line
frog
on
is
that.
so fucking good. I mean, clearly it reminds me of Frog from like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Like clearly odes to that. You got your sword and shield and your fucking tongue, and you're like one of the greatest things about this is there fly enemies. The frog can eat them and heal himself.
And they're such a pain in the ass before you get the frog.
Oh yeah, but as soon as you have him, they're just fucking eating them left and right.
Remember the temple that had the bomb throwing guys?
Yeah.
They were a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
And
There are
then you
these
get
little
the
like
frog form.
there are these
you
little
could just
voodoo guys that
grab
have
the
masks and they throw
and
bombs
fling
at
them
you.
back. Yeah.
But you're the frog, you just lick the bomb and spit it back out at them, and it's like it makes it so much easier.
You haven't gotten the final form yet, but that
No,
form
I've
was
not.
badass.
Really? What's up, Nick?
We do need to move on. But this.
We talked about Resident Evil for like fucking 40 minutes, Nick. How come we can't talk about Monster Boy for a little bit?
Hey man, we're in the second segment. We got.
Okay.
Give me that.
To be fair, we have talked about Monster Hunter before.
Monster
Oh, I know we talked about Monster Hunter before, but we're talking about Monster Boy now, Brad.
Whatever.
Boy Hunter.
All right. Monster Boy's a great game. I wish I had played it in 2018.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Oh, thank you, Christopher. I was getting a little chilly. What's up, Nick?
I don't know where to go now. What do you what?
We go home?
Oh my god.
Hey guys, tell me about Monster Boy.
So Monster
paying
Boy
attention.
and the Cursed Kingdom.
I think where we traditionally go is news.
Yes.
Right?
And we got some news,
There's
to
news.
talk about.
There's some juicy news.
Gross.
Go ahead.
Hit us with one.
Hit us with the news.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. Arkham Crisis.
I didn't even.
To
want-
release
I don't
this
even know what this
year.
is. This must be
I
new
didn't
news.
even know if I wanted to put
This
this on here. This is something.
is definitely worth talking about.
It's a rumor.
It
This
is
is
a
a
rumor that has
rumor.
started on Reset Era. It
That
has not
started
been
on Reset
reported
Era.
anywhere that I can see.
Well, that's because most of those places are being, like, responsible reporting, like, sites and not being
Yeah,
like,
no, I
hey,
know.
this thing's coming. They want to get some credibility
What is
behind it.
Jason Schreier?
I kind of wanted to wait until this got some traction elsewhere.
I mean, it's
but
fine. We can talk about the fact
put
that
it on
Let's
there's
the
just
a
down
talk
there.
about the people who are talking about it.
Yeah.
Right?
We're
talk
not
about the
saying there's an
We're not saying
Arkham
there's gonna be
Crisis
a Batman
game
Arkham
coming.
Crisis.
We're just saying, what if there was?
Let me tell you something. The supposed details of this rumor
From a playtest.
sound both safe and exciting to me.
Also, a few red flags that kind of made me think, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the bulleted list of like things, like details of this game, one was like aims to be game of the year, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that was weird. I didn't
Okay.
like that was...
Everybody-
like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, hey, they're
Everybody
putting out a
mentioned-
game,
Is this
but they
supposed to
want to
be
be game of the
Rocksteady?
year.
No,
Like,
No,
No.
that's the thing. They don't they didn't say that it was a Rocksteady
It
game,
can't
and in
be.
fact, some people are saying that it could be WB Montreal.
I mean, it
It
probably
can't be
is.
Rocksteady. If this has development for 2 years,
yeah.
Rocksteady's been working on whatever they've been working
No,
on.
So
this-
WB
this is-
Montreal.
WB isn't. There was a developer who works at, I believe, WB Montreal, who tweeted a picture of themselves in like a shirt that they got at their studio, and it was
Right.
like a symbol that looked like the
Arkham?
no, we're talking
owl,
about
the owl,
Court of Owls?
Court of Owls. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was also some concept art featuring Talon from the Court of Owls
Yes.
that leaked.
So this seems like it's a pretty logical. It's a logical step to go to say this. A lot of this could very well be true.
Yeah.
It just seems like a strange place for the rumors to start. Like,
Yeah,
bubbling up? I
I
don't
guess
know.
the source is a playtester. So
Yeah.
somebody like
the thing is, like, that was also
Definitely
the way the
shouldn't be.
Harry Potter RPG got leaked, but like
Right.
that still hasn't been officially
Right.
announced yet.
right.
So I don't know what to think.
I was reading the Reset Era thread, and I think they were saying the game takes place in Chris Davis. We can't see chat.
Oh shit.
All right. Anyway,
That was a long way around the burn. But I like it.
I mean, either way, there's not much to talk about here.
correct.
No,
it's all
no,
rumors
let
and
me talk,
speculation.
let me talk.
and hearsay.
Okay.
Let me talk.
No,
Sorry.
is that why you brought the Batman?
No, but
Okay.
that certainly is part of it. So, Court of Owls
Yes.
is the villain. That's fucking great. That's great. I mean, it makes too much sense. I hope it's true. The whole Batwing thing, they replaced the Batmobile with a Batwing. Apparently, you can be able to fucking
That-
fly around
yeah.
a
That sounds
Batwing.
dope. That sounds
That's
dope.
fucking crazy.
I could be excited by that.
Another thing that they mentioned is that no more Riddler trophies. They're replacing them with something completely different, which is nice because Riddler trophies were really cool. But you know we've seen that 4
Yeah.
times now.
Yep.
What else was
Crispy,
there?
I have one
The
question.
concerning thing was discussions of a PvP of a multiplayer mode,
Yeah.
Don't like that.
which they didn't really offer any details as to what that would look like, except saying that like you might be able to play story missions in a co-op style, like as Batman and Robin or some shit like that.
Weren't you able to do
Which-
that in Arkham Knight?
No.
No,
There was no
Nope.
co-op missions.
no.
Nope.
Hmm.
Also,
You could do those like challenge missions as different characters,
Oh, okay. That's what
but
I'm
you
thinking
couldn't
of.
co-op.
I do want to say I thought another thing I thought
it
was
should
weird
happen.
about the list of the bulleted list was like one of them said something along the lines of like there are 12 chapters in the game and each one's an hour long. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's a first of all,
But
that
then they
sounds
also
awful
said
too.
that-
That
It's
also
very
sounds
linear.
like why would you put that in a list of details?
That was really weird. Like it made it sounded like the critical path of the story was only going to be 12 hours long, but then they also said that they were doing a whole bunch of side missions that were going to be like 3-hour stories a piece.
Yeah, the thing is like, which made it sound like so you're saying like the side content is going to be like much longer than like your core game, which seems weird. Also, it just seems like that's the kind of I don't feel like that's the kind of thing. I could be wrong. I've never been a playtester before, but I feel like if you go into playtest a game,
usually
like,
don't know that
they're
much
not going
about
to
it.
tell you.
Yeah.
How many hours or missions are in the
Right.
game? That's just not a thing that I think that I think happens.
They're just
That-
like play this level over and over again.
it makes me. Apparently we'll find out in March because it says the game is supposed to be revealed in March. So if March comes and goes and we don't see anything of this game, then this particular part of this particular rumor is probably bullshit.
You know what? Gotham City Imposters was a good
Unless they
game.
fucking change their mind.
The only question I have for you, Crispy, is like if this exists, it's probably WB Montreal, and
Which isn't great.
you are not a fan of
And-
Arkham
and-
Origins at all.
I mean Arkham I think
I mean, I found it to
I
be.
don't think people
so,
are
like,
really
some of the
believing
details-
this, though.
like
From what I'm seeing here.
yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion. Some of the it seems too obvious. You know what I mean? Like it seems weird that they would just do another Batman Arkham game, and that it would be Court of Owls would be the featured villain because I mean that Court of Owls is probably the most recent new thing to be added to the Batman canon that has like kind of worked its way into the mainstream.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, but it also
I mean, that could be
seems-
true even if
it-
this
it-
particular rumor is bullshit.
Right. It also just seems like one of those details that's like if I was gonna make up some bullshit about a new Batman game, like that's what I would do. You know,
Yeah.
the only thing I would believe less than this would be if they said they were doing a Batman Beyond game. Which,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not arguing that wouldn't be amazing, but like that ain't gonna happen. I just don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen. the fact that they were talking about multiplayer is concerning.
Yep.
Because that was something that took a lot of. That was something that was part of Arkham Origins that like completely face planted.
Wait, there was a multiplayer component in that game?
Yes, there was. It was an asymmetrical multiplayer where you had okay, maybe this is what you're thinking of too, because you had one team that was Batman and Robin, and you had a team that was like 4 mercenaries.
I remember that now.
And they were hunting for Batman and Robin.
Wow, I don't remember.
It was a really cool idea, and the execution was really bad.
Yeah.
It was like unplayable.
It was like Spies vs. Mercs.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be like a fucking like a Splinter Cell Spies versus Mercs asymmetrical multiplayer thing. Yeah. But it just like did not happen.
Well, I mean, that would the fact that they tried it once before makes me think that maybe they'd be willing to try it again. Like maybe that kind of lends weight to
Just
the
give
rumor.
us Gotham Imposters too.
All right, let's move on.
I would be
Gotham
there
City
for that.
Let's move on.
100%.
Let's talk about something that's not rumor based.
Okay.
Next news topic: Metro Exodus has been pulled from Steam and is now only available on the Epic Store.
Like
However,
is only available on the Epic Store, like all the other digital storefronts.
correct, but they did say that anyone who has already pre-ordered the game on Steam,
Which is
it will
fucking
be
crazy.
honored.
They've already been selling this game on Steam.
Yeah.
Right.
So some people will have a Steam version of the game. In fact, you could probably buy like from key resellers or some shit and have it on Steam. But for everybody else,
I thought I read something about the resellers like even weren't like the Razer Game Store was selling it for $48, but
now
it got like fucking removed from them.
I see.
It got removed from the Humble Store.
And I think it's a timed thing, but like
Yeah.
the fact that it happened so late in the game, so close to
Oh,
release,
yeah.
is a sign that like, man, Epic is out there. And
No, they're
making these fucking
trying to
deals.
take over. They're trying to fucking, hey, Steam's not gonna fucking be the ruler anymore, and we're gonna do everything we can to make sure that we can provide a better experience.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Weird. It's really weird.
Not much to add there. It's a weird situation. It's probably going to happen
mean-
more, but we'll see.
You know what? Honestly, to a lot of us in the room,
Technology
it seems like
says
less
other-
of a big deal. But like, that's because
So technology in chat says
you guys are probably not going to play it. On
It is a
PC.
timed
it's
exclusive.
a timed exclusive. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't
You know.
actually know that, so that's cool. Good to
Like if you played a lot of your games on PC and you've been used to Steam all these years, it's pretty shocking.
It sucks when you have
Metro's a
like,
pretty big
like I had
PC
mentioned
game.
it the other day, but like I had mentioned, I have Steam, and now I have like GOG Galaxy, and I have this, and I forgot about Origin because when the fuck do I play EA games? Then when I had to download this Anthem demo, I was like, oh shit, I don't even have Origin installed anymore. I had to go re-download the tool. Just so I could play the Anthem demo. And it's just, like, I don't know, don't get me wrong. I can appreciate there being more than just Steam out there, but it sucks when you have, like, 10 different launchers.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But ultimately, I think competition like this is always good.
No, it definitely is good.
for
It's
the
gonna
consumer.
drive the consumer's experience to be nothing but better.
I think so.
next news topic is
Unless Valve dies.
But they're like encouraging competition by destroying competition.
Oh, I mean,
Here's the big one. Nintendo
Yep.
has officially announced that they have restarted
Oh, let
the development of Metroid Prime
What's up,
4
me talk about
from
this one.
scratch with Retro.
Okay, so restart development. Okay, no. They had a Metroid Prime project.
Okay.
What?
Just
Sorry,
talk,
I guess
Brad.
I'm
Just talk.
wrong.
Say words, Brad.
You're
Okay.
no.
Just say words.
I'm saying Nintendo's wrong in the way they're phrasing it. They canceled a project that was in development from a different studio. Let's be clear here. This was a
You are
game.
nitpicking the shit out of this. Yes, that's what it means. They stopped a project, gave it to a different developer, and started it over from scratch. That's the same thing as saying they canceled an existing project and started a new one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with Nick.
Why are we nitpicking this?
I'm not nitpicking. I'm just.
Why are we not talking about
It's the way I'm setting it up because everyone is like pretty happy about this.
I'm not.
Or they're not happy, but no one's seemingly no one's upset.
Because
People are
Retro's
surprised.
involved.
People are surprised by Nintendo's transparency about it. Is what they're surprised
Yes,
about.
but like to be clear, yeah, they did cancel a project. They said didn't seem good enough, so they canceled it. They're going to start over with Retro. Now the rumored studio was some
Namco Bandai or Bandai Namco.
yeah, like Namco Shanghai, even more rumors that it was like multiple Like various studios might have been working on different parts of it or whatever, or various teams. But like the interesting part is, and the reason I think people are okay with it is not just because of the transparency. It's because I think when a project is canceled, there is like this assumption that it was bad. Like it was canceled for a good reason.
That's not always the case.
Of course, it's not always the case. You know, they could have been having issues. You know, with the studio, with the management. You know, they could have been taking too long. You know, milestones may have been missed. They thought it was going to take too much money, right? So, but generally speaking, it's believed that something got canceled. You know, it probably wasn't that good. We believe them, and no one wants a bad Metroid game, right?
Correct.
A lot of people see this as, hey, we dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
You know. But the other thing is, so
maybe we were about to get another Metroid Prime Other M.
Yeah, absolutely. But the weird thing is like restarting development. It's still called Metroid Prime 4.
Why would it not
That's
be?
where it gets a little weird because this is a completely different project from a completely different studio. You know, it might not even resemble what this other game did.
But it doesn't matter because that other game didn't. It wasn't anything.
And nobody
to the consumer, it was nothing. And Nintendo owns Metroid, so they can call it whatever they want.
Sure. And this might not even come out. They should have just said, well...
This would be a different story if we had seen a screenshot or
This would be a different story if this was Prey 2. And we had seen like gameplay and all this other shit of Metroid Prime 4. And all of a sudden they canceled that, had another studio pick it up, and were like, hey, it's also Prey 2.
Yeah, but that would have been a little weird, right? Because look at what Prey 2 was before and what Prey ended up. It's good that they didn't just call it Prey 2. You see what I'm saying?
But I'm saying also to that extent that why does it even matter?
Well,
Metroid Prime 4 wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I know there was some development going on and there was something, but you can't go out and buy Metroid Prime 4. That was never a thing that existed in the world. Period. It was all theory. It was all in the ether. Yes, a studio was working on it, but it didn't become a thing.
There's nobody out there without inside information that could point to it and say that was a thing.
There's no
other than a logo.
So I will say that like I really hope like the title, because they canceled everything but the title, right?
Sure.
Hopefully that title doesn't like hold back what this project could be. And it could still be like something ambitious or something different. The bottom line is Retro's making a new Metroid game. I don't know if they're going to reuse assets from this canceled project.
This also brings into question what happened to the game that Retro was working on that apparently is never going to happen.
Exactly. So they were working on a project for a long time. There was somebody who worked at Retro who said, well, when I left that company, we were and this was a few years ago, that was a single team company. We were working on one thing. Mm-hmm. So my question is, you know, like, is this is Retro multi-team now, or did that project get canceled? Is it done? Some people believe maybe it's just done, and now they're going to be working on this Retro thing because, you know, there were Metroid thing. There were rumors that we were going to see that Retro thing at the Game Awards, at E3.
Wasn't there a rumor that like this all like was partly facilitated by the fact that Retro pitched something to Nintendo and they were really into it? So when they decided to like close up whatever the current incarnation of Metroid Prime 4 was, they turned to Retro to do it. Could it be that like this thing that Retro's been working on was something very similar to Metroid?
I mean,
they're like going to cannibalize it and turn it into
that rumor
Metroid
around
4.
E3 was that it was like a Star Fox racing game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to turn that into Metroid.
And those are
Prime.
pretty strong.
There's also been rumors that the development of that game and there's been some issues at Retro, you know, been kind of problematic. So here's the other part of this is that Retro hasn't developed a Metroid Prime game since Metroid Prime 3, which was over 10 years ago, I think, at this point. And the other thing is a lot of that core talent, like the leads from Metroid Prime, they're gone. They left and formed Armature. And Retro's been making Donkey Kong platformers, you know, since then. They might not even have the team to like make a Metroid game that would live up to, you know, the former ones that were really, you know, good, right?
I mean, there's probably still people there that had involvement in that.
That's the optimistic, you know, take, right? For sure. you like to hope.
I mean,
but-
they made good Donkey Kong games, like, and
sure, but I would say that's a lot
we
less
don't want to pigeonhole
ambitious
them because of that.
than like Metroid Prime, right?
You know what I want to see? Another Donkey Konga.
So there's one more part of the story. Is that somebody from Game Informer had some knowledge of what was going on.
I think there's an overlay for this too, by the way.
Oh, is it a separate overlay?
I made a separate overlay.
Okay, so the rumor is that the Metroid Prime trilogy for Switch has been done, and that it was supposed to be announced in December. Now that might have coincided with the Game Awards. In fact, it was strongly rumored back then as well that we'd be seeing
Along with like 20 other projects
Prime
that were
trilogy.
rumored for that show that never got announced.
But it hasn't been announced. So the question is,
I'm sure Nintendo has a Nintendo Direct lined up.
Yeah. But the question is, do you think that since this next Metroid game is probably years away at this point, since they just restarted probably, that now they're going to wait a little bit to release this? It makes more sense if Metroid Prime 4 was going to be out at the end of this year or next year to release it
To get the
sooner
hype
rather
up.
than later.
Yeah.
But if that Metroid Prime 4 is now years away, why would there be any rush to release this trilogy? You want to release
aside
it
from the
at
fact
like an
that-
optimal time,
aside
right?
from the fact that, I mean, maybe they don't feel like they need it, but like, you got to imagine that someone at Nintendo is like, well, we spent a bunch of money on the development on this trilogy. We would like to recoup some of the costs on that.
Where they need that money back.
Like, how long is a reasonable time to sit on something that's done? You know what I mean? Like, you can.
So what they could do is like, hey, we just burned a lot of money on canceling this Metroid project. What if instead of releasing it as a trilogy, we now chop it up and release them as like $30 each?
I don't think they would do that. I really don't think they would release.
I mean, you say that, but they released Tropical Freeze for $60, and that was a pretty simple
That's,
Wii U to
that's
Switch
different.
port.
That's different. This is like the Metroid Prime trilogy has been released before.
But I'm saying
and it was
Tropical
very-
Freeze was just a port from Wii U to Switch, and they charged $60. Metroid Prime Trilogy actually would require a fair bit of work, especially because Metroid Prime 3 had heavy use of pointer controls and motion controls, stuff you can't really do on the Switch because Nintendo would
pointer controls and motion
Nintendo would
control.
like you to believe that pointer shit works well, but it's not IR pointer anymore. It's only gyro, which kind of sucks shit for like pointing at stuff on a screen. Like, for like swinging a sword, like Skyward Sword, they use gyro. That kind of works, right? But like all the experiences I've had with the pointer on Switch, like, has been fucking terrible. It's not even as good as a Wii Motion Plus. That's probably why you just don't see a lot of games using it.
Wii
Like,
Motion Plus.
yeah, Wii Motion
I
Plus.
have one right up there.
Like
so weird.
like 7 billion humans.
Yeah.
If you want to play it on
it's
TV,
horrible.
you got to use the pointer, and it sucks shit. Same with World of Goo. If you play World of Goo on your Switch, only use the touchscreen because I played it on the Wii, and it was like fucking nice using that IR pointer back in the day.
I got the Wiimote, and
Zipping
I got
around.
the Wii Motion Plus condom that you had to get, so you could attach your little dongle to your
Maybe they'll
Wiimote to
make
make
an
it
adapter
better.
for the Switch.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is they have to spend time putting regular controls into Metroid Prime 3. Also HDifying the whole fucking thing. Takes.
I hope
time.
it's true, and I hope they don't sit on
hefty,
it.
man.
I hope they don't sit on it for very long.
I hope they release it as a trilogy for $60
in 2019.
in 2019.
Dude, I would buy it.
Of course,
I
I hope
would.
everybody buys it.
No, let's move on. Next news topic. I think we have one more. Maybe that's juicy. Yes. So Chinese company NetEase has purchased a big minority stake in Quantic Dream.
Really?
Quantic Dream is looking to go multi-platform. It looks like.
No, I think that's what they announced.
Quantic
the
Dream?
The plan is to go multi-platform.
Yeah.
Quantic Dream.
Quantic Dream.
David Cage's?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
They've-
for years now they've been kind of associated with Sony.
Yep.
Sony first party titles. Not since Indigo Prophecy were they multi-platform, but do you think? Okay, so the reason I think this is somewhat interesting is, do you think all that controversy with Quantic Dream with David Cage, their studio drama, in combination with the fact that Detroit, although it sold pretty well, I think it was somewhat controversial release also, because of content or whatever.
Sure.
Do you think this is maybe Sony like
Cutting them loose a little
cutting
bit.
them loose a little bit, maybe.
Saying like we don't want you to be exclusive to us anymore.
Yeah, like go make this.
Like we don't
deal.
want you to be we don't want
We
you
want
to
to
be,
see other people.
we
but
don't want you to be uniquely associated
Yeah.
to Sony anymore. I mean, maybe. I mean,
They're
that could be
not.
part
They're
of it.
not like a prestige first party
No, they're not.
anymore. I don't think, or at least they're not seen that way. Oh, Detroit did well, but this is interesting. But NetEase, I think they've also recently like invested a lot of money in Bungie. From what I've heard.
Yeah, aren't they one of the companies that's like just buying up stakes in a lot of?
Yeah, they're kind of like
Western
Tencent,
studios?
but not as big, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not much else to add there, but yeah, that's a possibility. We'll have to kind of see how that shakes out. Yeah.
Cool.
Is that it for news? I think. No? Oh yeah, and this is tied to the Resident Evil 2 remake. It looks like it shipped 3 million copies in its first week, making it there's a lot of words floating around about how this compares to other entries in the series.
Well, yeah. So the news is that it's supposedly maybe even selling like 3 times as much as Resident Evil 7, and which I think there's some implications there, right? One, I think the big reason that maybe this is happening is not just because people have a lot of nostalgia for Resident Evil 2, but a lot of times sales of a game are somewhat dictated by how people feel about the previous game. You know what I mean? Like Resident Evil.
People who heard
7
that
was
Resident
following
Evil 7
6.
was
great.
following 6, and maybe some weaker like Revelations games or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? While this is following 7, which word of mouth and like general like critically very well received, right?
Yeah.
So people are kind of excited about.
People
the next
felt like they
Resident Evil.
missed the bus last time.
Yeah,
and they
I
wanted
mean,
to jump on.
this shit happens. Like the Call of Duty that came out after Ghosts or whatever didn't sell as well.
Yeah.
Or
This is kind of a perfect storm for
or like
Resident Evil
look
right
at
now.
Battlefield post all that Battlefront EA drama, right? People have less faith that the next big game from them is going to be any good.
It kind of suggests that Resident Evil is kind of becoming a healthy franchise again.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but this could also mean that maybe Capcom execs look at Resident Evil 7 and say, well, maybe this isn't the future of Resident Evil. Maybe a first-person VR game, it isn't the future for Resident Evil, or maybe the success of this game suggests that, and again, it's just maybe what they believe, that the past lore, these past characters, that is what people care about, as opposed to 7, which had like all new characters.
I
But
hope that's
7
not, I don't think that's the case.
But 7 still made sure to tie back into those characters in the end, like it did.
Yeah, loosely, almost like a
Afterthought, maybe.
like a cameo or a tease
Yeah.
or an Easter egg or whatever. You're
Fan
right.
service.
You're right. It might not be what it means, but it could be what executives see, right?
I guess, but I really don't think that's the case.
You know,
mean-
like I think this cements that we're going to get a remake 3, right?
well, they might-
Which before the sales of this
Probably.
They
wasn't
might
any
take
sort
it
of
more.
guarantee.
They just might take it more as like being this is the sort of format of game that sells really well. Like we should be doing more of that enclosed haunted house style Resident Evil.
yeah, I mean,
You know,
it also
third person
could.
action camera.
It could result in a Resident Evil 8 that is kind of an amalgamation of 7
But
and
that's what
2
7
remake.
was. 7 was that amalgamation, I feel like, right?
I mean, but like,
the whole first person.
but
thing is kind
the
of,
first person thing changed things up quite a bit, but like it was lacking typical like zombie enemies, like
It's true.
there as well as 7 was received, and as much as I love Resident Evil 7, like there's something to be said about the fact that it was maybe missing
character.
zombie. I mean,
zombies.
zombies. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some of that old
which is-
magic, the old goofy
yeah.
magic.
I mean, it didn't bother me. I personally loved that Resident Evil 7's like main draw was like specifically avoiding those 3 or 4 the family.
Murder
And-
hobos.
Exactly. Like I think that was really a really exciting take, but like I could that formula may not stick for multiple
It's a
entries.
bit down to earth for Resident Evil.
Sure, and maybe that's why I loved it so much. But Resident Evil 2 brought it back with classic zombies and everything. And this game took inspiration and elements from Resident Evil 7 and brought it over. A lot of it had to do with the UI and stuff and changes. So like, there's no reason why both of these games might not kind of feed into what Resident Evil 8 ultimately becomes. Like, I feel like this series is still trying to like find its footing and like find its future.
I would hope not.
And No, I mean, like trying to find like it's gone through stages. Like we had classic Resident Evil, then we had 4, 5, and 6 style, then we had 7, which was totally different than anything came before, and now we have this remake of 2, which is classic again, but like both of them are doing well. It's kind of like, where do you go from here? Like it seems like you need to kind of take, you need to kind of like look at all of them.
Dino Crisis, Nick.
Dude, Dino Crisis would be fucking.
when
If
do
they
we
made Dino Crisis like this, I'd lose my fucking shit.
When do we improve on the Operation Raccoon City formula?
Shut up, Crispy. Never.
That was a cool idea.
No. Okay, we need to move on. Is there
It's
anything
a
else we
terrible
want to
game,
add?
but it was a cool idea.
I do think that the success of Resident Evil 2 Remake is probably kind of makes it kind of a shoe-in. Especially, you see how people like in the internet is just kind of reacting to this whole Mr. X thing. It's been, like, my Twitter was full all week of just like people just like memes and GIFs and videos of just like, this shit is crazy.
This is going to have like effects on the rest of the industry as well, right? Because I don't think we've seen a remake of an old game like do this well.
No.
Maybe, not typically, right?
How did Remake 1 do?
So not well. Like originally when it came out, no, not that well. I mean, Resident Evil 4 was a big deal because prior to that, nothing Resident Evil was really selling as much anymore. Man, of course, even 4 didn't sell all that great initially, but
if nothing else, maybe this will be kind of rejuvenate the survival horror genre.
Survival horror, yeah, but I hope what it does is it suggests to other publishers out there, Japanese publishers, probably more than Western publishers, that remakes of stuff, from the 90s. You look at this, you look at Spyro, you look at Crash, all that stuff is selling like millions upon millions of copies.
Yep.
Like, this is going to start a trend, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which is exciting, since we grew up then and played those games then, right?
Yeah. All right, we need to move on. Also, thank you, Wingless. I see you subscribed. Appreciate it. All right. Nolan, are you ready over there with Patreon
ready.
Stuff?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We got some new patrons.
Yeah, we do.
Quite a few. I think
to
we already
hear.
read that one. So I think we'll start with Monum. Did we read Monum last week?
What is it?
Sorry, not Nathan. Did we read Nathan last week?
I don't think so.
Nathan C.
Thank you, Nathan. C.
Monam.
Wait, is Nathan C. Monam or is
No,
that
that's two different people.
Nathan C. and Monam.
And Nick.
Oh, really?
Not you, a different Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
And YTS.
YTS. Thank you.
62.
Thank you.
Yes.
I like this. This is good. We're trying to save up for some money for some headphones.
A few new patrons, so thanks to all of them for becoming patrons. We appreciate you.
Again, reminder, if you're a supporter on Patreon, you have early access to all of our Game of the Year videos we've prepped thus far, which is like 4 videos, and we'll be updating that as they become available. I think we'll have Brad's up there maybe tomorrow, so check that out.
So let's get some questions from our supporters. First, we'll start with Patreon. Fuzzy Turd asks, if you were given the opportunity to become the apprentice of any video game character for any trade, for instance, you could train under Cloud Strife to learn to wield impractical massive swords, who do you choose and for what skill?
Oh, Jesus.
God, that's a good question.
Yeah. Who would I want to train under to become like them, to become better at something?
You'd want to pick a character that's not like a normal dude, right? You want to pick someone who's like of a different.
I don't think I would pick Captain Falcon, so I'd be good at driving.
What about Samus? Who tell me how to roll up into a little ball.
You would
you
die.
Could already do that.
Oh fuck.
Interesting. Would Spider-Man teach me how to swing around the city? That doesn't count.
That can't be taught.
He'd teach you how to be a hero.
Yeah.
You don't need powers to be like me, son, is what he'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe not the son part, but he'd say
that's
that.
Weird.
Could Alucard teach me how to turn into a bat?
No.
Damn it.
See, this is weird. Like
This is like soft skills, guys.
Did you hear about? Did you
Like
see?
if you were gonna apprentice
the
under
Mega
Samus,
Bat?
she'd teach you how to be a bounty hunter.
Like I could train under Kiryu to learn how to run like a nightclub.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Business
That's a good one.
skills.
Yeah.
and how to like murder people but not actually kill them.
Yeah.
I would train under Mr. X on how to scare the shit out of people through door. Well, I'm too short. I'm too short. I'm too short for that. Yeah, you got to be too tall to like fit through doors, otherwise it won't work.
You could just terrorize little people.
I would pick a wizard character to teach me magic.
That's fucked up.
To teach you magic?
Yeah.
Like magic tricks? illusions.
like to learn how to weave the arcane ether.
But
I
that
bet
doesn't
Geralt
exist.
could like teach me some shit
What?
and mutate me. Yeah.
You know,
Was
drink
that sexual in
drink
nature? I
those potions.
Yeah.
Mutate me, Geralt.
The trial of grasses.
Trial of grasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on chapter 9, the Witcher 3 of Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty good so far.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We got a lot of questions. We got to get through a lot. Brandon, I'm excited to hear rumors of a future Batman game in the Arkham series possibly coming out this year. What series or sequel would you resurrect that has been long dead?
What series or sequel would we resurrect?
Well, I
that
don't
has
think
been-
that's been long dead.
Well,
But
yeah, but
Dino Crisis is one
Advance Wars.
Final,
Yes, gotcha.
no, I mean, I'd probably rather have like Final Fantasy Tactics or a new Castlevania.
I would absolutely take. Well, first of all, I mean, the thing is, we all have like obvious go-to answers, right? Like I would love to see Silent Hill come back from the dead. I would love it. I would absolutely fucking love it. But coming right off of Resident Evil 2 remake, I would absolutely love to see Capcom give the same treatment to like Dino Crisis or Onimusha. Like bring those back, but like in a big way.
I
like
want to
that.
see a remake or resurrection of The Bouncer.
Does anybody actually want that, Nolan?
No.
Isn't
not?
it?
But it would be good though.
Would it?
Yes, because they would remake it and it'd be good. It'd probably
was
be
the
more
last
like
time-
Yakuza.
Speaking of Square Enix,
I was watching AGDQ speedruns, and I got really excited thinking about the idea of a sequel to Bloodborne.
Yes, that would be
Okay,
cool.
but that's not
coming,
long
though.
dead.
Yeah, I know.
You've been
it's
saying
coming.
that for years. Like
He
it's gonna
said, "What do I want? Not what is
Dude,
not gonna
It
happen."
Do you
has
wanna
been
put real
long
money on
dead.
this?
No, but Brad, I'm pretty
Been
sure.
since 2015.
I'm pretty
That's not long.
Brad,
3
I'm
years
pretty
is a long
sure
time.
the last two E3s you said of course they're going to announce Bloodborne 2.
Well,
and it
yeah.
hasn't been there.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course. It's like
Where
From
is it?
Software exists.
Where is it?
It made a ton of money for Sony. It's like a first-party project that like was a system seller
All
for the
right,
PS4.
fine. Then a new
Like,
Mario game.
I
God.
can't imagine unless like Bloodborne is secretly
Oh
tied
my
up.
god! You just make me hate video games.
What? Unless Bloodborne is like tied up in some weird like licensing issues, which I can't imagine. It doesn't make any sense
got
for
it.
there not to be another.
Resurrection of Elite Beat Agents.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was the one with the lady?
What would you
agents?
fucking play that on?
Oh, on the Switch.
Wasn't that a spin-off?
No.
Or was that
It was
a-
a secret mode. I mean, it was a mode you
Yeah, it was a
mode
mode
in the
in the
game.
more
Yeah.
recent
So it's
one.
only
Guys,
the one
But they're
game.
really hard
Yeah.
because you couldn't see the circles. No,
Chris
I haven't
Davis.
answered. I haven't
Wait,
answered.
neither is Chris Davis. He's been
I'm
waiting.
talking
Chris
about-
Davis, what's your
I
answer?
was just gonna say that I think it's time for Parasite Eve to come.
Damn it, that was one of mine.
Ha! Stolen.
Oh, he had
Fuck
jerk.
jerk.
Like 9 of them.
You're not even really on this podcast.
Good job, Chris
Okay,
Davis.
how about the Strike series, classic arcade shooter?
Okay.
I liked your first
Wonderful.
answer better.
Parasite Eve, obviously long. I would like to see a really good remake. Look at, Resident Evil 2, right? Also, really needs a good remake, but this would have to be very carefully done. Matsuno is already working with, Square Enix these days on the MMO. Vagrant Story needs a really good remake.
What about-
but that original art style is so good? I don't even know how you do that.
What about a resurrection remake of Oni?
What? Bungie is free. Bungie's free. Bring back Oni.
Bring back Oni!
I want.
Bring back
fucking-
Onimusha.
I want Mountain Blade to come back.
Okay.
You know what I want to come back? Final Fantasy.
Yeah, actually, if you think about it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
you just don't like that I have the good ones.
Can I say this? Nomura and Tabata are ruining modern Square Enix. They're making them super uncool. They need to bring Matsuno back to make a fucking Final Fantasy game as well.
Next
All right,
question.
moving on. Alfian, what are a few old school game cheat codes that you still remember today? I always remember the Clapakias cheat from The Sims. This question is in reference to the video of Nick remembering the cheat code from Turok Dinosaur
Yes,
Hunter.
you said it, so you don't.
I
get
know.
To say it.
I read this question. I wasn't going to
Oh,
say it again.
okay.
Brad.
Cheat codes.
I used to know fucking every one from
Konami?
That is the only cheat code I remember.
StarCraft.
I don't remember what it did, but the StarCraft code Radio Free Zerg.
Yeah. I'm trying to. There was a lot from StarCraft. I used to fucking know all of them, and they were really fucking obscure too.
The fucking Tomb Raider like level skip, like equipment, max weapon codes and stuff, where you turn 3 times to the left and then turn to the right and do like a backflip and stuff. Yeah, those were cool.
How did you unlock cheat codes in GoldenEye? That had to do with finishing
Oh,
missions,
that's right.
right?
It was a fucking it was a hidden song that was sung by the Overmind.
In what?
In StarCraft, if you type in Radio Free Zerg into the console, it plays this like secret track that's like a fucking, I don't know, like club dance song sung by the Zerg Overmind. It was cool.
Oh yeah, Food for Thought was just unlimited resources. I use that one a lot.
I've got it. Turok 2.
Uh-huh.
Beware Oblivion is at hand.
I'm gonna look up the Radio Free Zerg song right now.
Oh, Black Sheep Wall. I use that one all the time.
Yeah, what did that do?
Reveal the entire map.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I cheated my way through that.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, a lot of older games you had to, and you did because you knew the codes.
Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah. All right, moving on. Next question from J Press. With Nintendo receiving so much praise for how they announced the Metroid 4 debacle, do you see any difference in EA's announcement of the redevelopment of Visceral Star Wars game?
Yes.
The only difference I see is that EA's got leaked. Also, has Nintendo become a glorified, quote, indie studio? Zelda aside, do they make any games that are either more graphically intensive or narratively deeper than an indie studio? And is it just me, or is Kingdom Battle the best looking interpretation of Mario's world and it was made by Ubisoft?
Oh, you mean the Mario and Rabbids?
Yeah.
I think that
It's a pretty dope game. I'll say that.
I will say two things. First of all, I think when things are leaked versus when things are like announced by the company themselves, it kind of gives it this like scandalous air, whether or not it's deserved or not. I think that's just like, kind of a fucking illusion.
Nintendo's approach to this whole debacle was really them trying to get ahead of leaks because they knew it was going to happen.
How often do we get Nintendo leaks?
I don't know.
Like real, actual leaks from
Not very
Nintendo.
often.
I don't know
Because
why.
I don't want to say it's a Japanese business practice, but
was
it
a
kind of
PR.
is. You just don't, like, in that world,
That was a PR move, though. from
Correct.
top
No,
to
it definitely
bottom,
was a PR move to come out and say it, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Crispy.
I think we like Nintendo so much because they just fucking prostrate themselves in front of everybody. Like, they apologize and
that's
beg
Japanese, though.
so
Well, that's what I'm saying.
much.
That's Japanese business style.
I know.
I was hoping their
like-
apology for this Metroid Prime 4 thing would be Trilogy comes out next week.
Yeah.
Or the Trilogy's free. But, yeah. that's not gonna happen.
And the other thing too, he said something about like indie games.
Has
having-
Nintendo
No,
become a
like,
glorified
no,
indie
No.
studio?
He
That's
said something about
ridiculous.
narrative depth. Which
Oh,
I
he was
don't think-
saying... he
That's
was
just
saying-
not Nintendo style. That's just not what they care about.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think that's necessarily a hallmark. Of
Also,
anyone in
Xenoblade
particular.
is Nintendo first party, and
Yeah,
they
that's
obviously
true.
care about stories. So.
It's a studio. That's a studio to studio thing, and it just so happens that a lot of Nintendo's main big franchises just don't. That's not a huge.
It could
Part of
be,
it.
but Breath of the Wild didn't even bother to have, be fully voice acted for some fucking
Plus,
reason.
you say it's a Japanese thing, but I mean, look at some other Japanese companies. Like Konami doesn't do shit to the they don't fucking like get down on their hands and knees and like fucking beg for your.
No, they pretty
Konami-
much give you
Nintendo
middle
does.
fingers.
Konami is like an officially funded Yakuza.
Sure.
I mean, Konami doesn't give a fuck.
What I'm saying is, like,
They're-
I
they're
think
pretty
Nintendo's
notorious for
like
that.
Yeah.
deference goes beyond just traditional
yes.
Japanese norms.
True.
All right, we move on. We got a lot. Seriously, there's a lot.
Cool.
J Press also adds, is there a way I could send a one-time donation towards your goal of new headphones? You can make out
probably?
a check to cash and send it to Nolan.
We do have a PayPal.
put some
Maybe
cash
hit me
in
up
an
in
envelope.
Discord if that's something you're interested in
I
doing.
think that's his way of saying
Our audio's
that our
horrible.
podcast sounds like shit.
Moving on, Metal Button. I was going to ask a really awesome and thoughtful provoking question, but then I got stoned and forgot what it was. So the question I'm asking you now is, what was the most memorable poop you took? I pooped in a washroom that had a motion sensor light. Guess I took too long looking through my phone and stalled because the light turned off. Had to use the light from my phone to illuminate. Nice.
My most memorable poop was actually in
So
China.
many poops in my life.
Ooh.
In China at the Terracotta Army
On a woman's chest.
place.
Wait, was it like
I had
a
a bit
squat
of
toilet?
I had a bit of a blowout there.
Oh.
Yeah, that was not a fun.
What do
That
you
was
mean
not a
blow-
fun.
What do you mean?
That was not a
What
fun
do you
place.
mean? You shit your pants at the
Please,
Terracotta Army?
please go into great detail about
No,
this.
it's just a bad place.
Wait,
to
were you just like squat? Like, was it one of those Eastern style toilets where you have to squat over it and you just like
no,
didn't get it in? Or?
No, I don't think so. It was a
What
pretty.
do you mean by blowout? You chose those words specifically.
Wait, you don't know what a blowout is?
No, explain it to
Maybe
me.
not.
Oh my lord!
Explain it to me. Is it where you're like farting
Paint
while
me
you're
a
pooping?
Paint me a picture.
What do you mean,
of
Nick?
your
I feel
Why
like
did
a
you
blowout
say
has
those
to be
words?
unexpected.
Paint me a picture
It
with
has to
your
be
poop.
like, I'm just gonna fart. Oh my god.
Right, which means he shit his pants.
Yeah.
That is not what happened.
Nick shit his pants.
What, you just had a...
Fine, we'll take that. We'll spin the narrative, Brad.
What about your chili dog? What about the chili dog?
The chili dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what?
Yeah.
We don't have
This
to
has
talk
been
about
explained on the podcast before.
where you pooped a chili dog out of you? Like, undigested?
No. Urban Dictionary it later.
No.
Do I have anything memorable?
If it's on Urban Dictionary, I want nothing to do with it.
I mean, the only one I can think of was when I had like food poisoning.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was coming out of both ends, and so I had
That's-
to keep switching
that
back
happened to
and
me
That's
forth.
a blowout.
Is that what that is?
Diarrhea?
I mean, that's kind of.
Why didn't you just say that then?
I didn't know it needed to be
I think
explained.
you're lying.
But the thing for me
Nick.
was, it wasn't just like I was at a winter camp, so it was over winter at Camp Strake near Houston. That's where it happened. I
went to
got
winter
food
camp,
poisoning, and so I had to like keep switching back and forth my position because it kept coming out. That was
poisoning.
horrible.
Which
fucking
It was
scout?
it was one
God,
it was
that's horrible.
1 a.m. on December 31st in 2001. I remember exactly when it happened.
Your silver turtle wasn't cooked all the way?
It was actually they had served beef stew because it was the final night of camp,
This is
and so
so
they served a
gross.
big dinner for everyone. And I guess it was like it had gone bad because everyone got food poisoning. I've told the story before, but everyone got food poisoning at like 9 p.m. Like everyone, but I was fine. It didn't hit me until like 1 a.m.
To be clear, I did not shit on the terracotta soldiers.
No, I'm sure you'd still be in prison if you did.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Y2S or YTS.
I
one
feel
of our
like some
new
people got
supporter-
got
or
to like
patrons.
dodge that question a little too easily.
Are there
Yeah, I
any?
didn't get the
we
answer.
we
Dude,
don't
I
have
can't even
time.
remember shits I took last week. Like,
Did you
I
shit
hope,
It's
today?
I
not
hope you
something-
don't.
So hold
it's
on.
something. It's not something.
We
I
were
like,
talking about shits at work the other day, and apparently one of my coworkers' friends had like a poop their pants moment, and so she was saying like now they can't leave their house every day without taking 2 shits. And I'm like, how do you take 2 shits before you leave the house?
You like force
Like, I have-
yourself to
How
shit
late?
twice.
How late to work are you
I
every
have
day?
problems taking 1 shit
No,
sometimes.
what he's
like,
doing is he's taking one big shit. He's just
Wait,
splitting it into 2.
Slade. I think Slade Urban Dictionary the word blowout, an uncontrolled, poorly contained, and always catastrophic bowel movement.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Ooh, usually the chunky
Right.
Oh
runs.
God! I
What
didn't.
the fuck is chunky runs?
I
That's
don't
like
know.
an oxymoron.
No,
Oh.
it's not.
Is it like a stew?
No, it's like it's
Consistency?
yeah, like it's like Brunswick stew.
specifically
instead of just water.
Brunswick stew.
Have you ever had
specifically.
Brunswick stew?
I have not.
Then you wouldn't understand.
Okay, can you
Oh,
paint
my-
me a picture of Brunswick stew?
Yeah, it's a
With
traditional.
my asshole.
All right, moving on. From one of our new patrons, YTS. Are there any objectively good games that, for whatever reason, known or unknown, you just couldn't get into? I had the issue
Yes.
with both Skyrim and Red Dead Redemption, among other games.
Wait, those aren't objective.
I know. I think
I,
my issue might be that I ended up not playing content-heavy open-world type games enough to get totally sucked in. I absolutely want to replay Red Dead Redemption to properly enjoy Red Dead Redemption 2, and it seems like it would be a shame to never finish Skyrim.
I think-
Any advice? Love you
First of all, let me just say, I
love
think,
you too.
I take
love you too.
exception to the.
I just want to say, I think the word he chose was maybe wrong. He said objectively good. I think maybe what he was looking for was critically good.
Sure.
Well,
Because I don't think
critically exceptional.
Universally-
because I don't think
accepted
there are
by,
many
like, the
games. I don't
masses.
think there's many games, movies, whatever that are
Popularly
objectively
considered.
good.
maybe. Here,
The Last of Us.
Okay, that's maybe one of the few.
let me pitch one.
Yeah. What's up, Brad?
Portal.
Ooh.
you never
that's a
got
good one.
into Portal. It's like
No,
2
no,
hours
no,
long.
no. I'm saying
He's
that
saying
is an
that's
objectively
an
good game.
example of
Find
an
me a
objectively
person that doesn't like Portal.
Sure. You know what?
That's why I'm
I've
saying
got
there's
one.
very
Someone
few of
who's
them.
colorblind.
I've got one, and it hurts. Like this one actually really hurts me.
Uh-huh.
You know, sometimes you guys talk about, you know, games like Resident Evil and stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, that's great that it's a good game, but you know, it's like if I don't care about the game, I don't care that I don't like it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But there's one game that I really, I'm sorry, there's 2 games that I really wanted to like, and just like had a hard time with it when I was playing them.
Mm-hmm.
First one was Metroid Prime.
Ooh.
The second one was Demon's Souls.
Yeah, but it's funny. Metroid Prime, that's a game that has always like had issues with like controls and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's
I do feel
it's
like-
a beloved game, but it's not like a perfect game.
I do feel like the
Same with Demon
controls.
Souls.
I do feel like the controls for both of them were like mitigating, like not even the controls, but like the controller I had to use to play those games, like killed those games for me.
No, I mean that's
I got-
there's no perfect controller or controls for Metroid
I got two
Prime.
answers.
Also, you're just bad demons.
Halo
Yeah, we'll go fuck yourself.
and Gears of War.
I think Gears of War is one for me. I've tried many times to try and
I'm
really get
not
into that.
either of those.
And while those games are like really pretty to look at, like they don't like content wise, they just don't do it.
Halo
for me.
has the library level though.
Dude, the silent
I mean,
cartographer.
I don't
I
know
like
The
what that
library
means.
level sucks.
I've always
exactly.
liked
but
Halo.
the silent cartographer level is awesome.
I've always liked Halo and appreciated it a lot for its like atmosphere because of its music and like just level design and
Halo's hard
stuff
to
is
go
great.
back to, where you just don't know if you're going forward or backwards because all
Yeah.
it's the same.
All right, I gotta move on. More
Wait,
questions.
one more recent example.
Hurry.
Dusk.
Taking too long.
I've talked
Okay,
about
cool.
this with Brad
A
earlier.
lot of
I'm-
Rockstar games I don't love as much as the most average person. I guess I don't know.
You don't like Bully, Brad? What's wrong with you?
Most Grand Theft Auto. I don't love Grand Theft
All right, Umos. Do you guys ever go thrifting for used/retro games? If
Ooh, I
yes,
do.
what is the rarest and coolest find you can remember?
Not really.
I can't say that I do.
I used to back in the day. When I was just out of high school, just getting into college, I would do that. I mean, that's how I got some of my older consoles, is I would go around kind of looking for that stuff. But more and more so lately, I just don't have the time, and I can emulate those. And
I'm one of those. I'm weird in the sense that like I don't want to tempt myself into getting a bunch of like classic consoles. I like having like 2 or 3 machines. That's that encompasses my entire.
Sure.
You know,
But I will say something last night on my stream. I was like, all right, I'm going to play some Resident Evil 2. But I got this idea right before the stream. Actually, let's load up my Kingdom Hearts 2 save. I reached over, turned on my CRT, turned on my PS2, got, Kingdom Hearts 2. I was all hooked up.
Mhm.
I
you
just
got your memory card.
Yeah, I pulled out my memory card. It was right there. And boom, I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2 13 years later on the same save, the same game.
impressive.
It's nice to have all that retro stuff hooked up.
That's true.
But I like to do that sometimes. You don't have a ton of luck because if you go into it depends on where you go, right? Because if you go like garage selling, if you go Goodwill, you could find some like really good deals on some really rare stuff. But like the chance that you're not just going to find a pile of old sports games is pretty rare.
100%. Like, it's just going to be old sports games.
But it happens. Like I noticed like
There was one time my dad was like, "Hey, I found a box of some games on the side of the road," and I was like, "What? Yeah!" And they were all like Madden and like NBA, and I was like, "Oh,
Just
But
knocked it out of his
sometimes you
hand.
could find some good deals.
What is
like
this?
like I found like an Xbone controller, which is a good PC controller for like $5.
That was one of my
stuff like that.
favorite things because I've never been into sports games. But back when I used to work at Game Crazy and people would come in with their sports games to trade in, and I was like, "Oh, get ready to be disappointed." And they're like, "Hey, I bought this game 2 weeks ago. I want to trade it in." It's like $10. Like
my God.
sports games are like immediately worthless.
Yep.
Like, all right, we got to move on. We still got a lot more questions. Haas 3000. Are you a shaving cream from a can guy or a brush with shaving soap kind of guy?
I don't even know what that second one is.
That's me.
And then I guess you're shaving
Brush
cream
with
from a
sa-
can.
shaving-
guy.
Shaving soap.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
What
like the
is that?
fancier. Like you use a brush with.
So
shaving
Nick, shaving soap is it's like a soap, but it's softer. It's I can show you mine.
Yeah.
It's a softer material, and so you either have like a physical bar that you usually put in a bowl. You get your brush wet, and you kind of start spinning it, and it makes a lather.
Those. Okay.
It's the kind of shit someone like Nolan would use.
I used to have one of those actually.
So the only reason I do that is it actually is cheaper than shaving cream and like razor. Like, so I use a double-edged safety razor and like shaving soap because it's cheaper. And the nice thing about the brush is you kind of work it in, and it feels nice when you have that warm, like, because you use warm water, and so it makes the shaving cream
Is it
warm.
like a horse?
I got a- I got
Mine's
one of
actually
those-
boar.
I got one of those as a
Boar's
gift
hair.
once,
Mhm.
and
Dude, I love mine.
I didn't use it.
use body wash in the shower.
so that's the thing.
to
I've been
shave.
out of shaving cream for a long time, and I was like, "Fuck!" I don't shave that much. I like my cheeks sometimes, and like I always forget to like pick some up. So I was like, "Fuck!" So I just grabbed some of Malia's body wash and like suds it up real good, and then shave that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Wow.
Same.
I don't shave very often anymore, though, so I'm just shaving cream in a can.
Well, technology, that's the thing with shaving soap, is you can find a lot of, like, unique ones that do have, like, this more sensitive, like, skin kind of related stuff, and, like, there's a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, move on. Also, like I was saying, my double-edged safety razor, like, razor cartridges are so expensive. Dude, my fucking 100-pack for $10.
Nice.
Super cheap. Just don't cut perpendicular, because you'll just, like, slice your face.
I will say,
wide
I miss
open.
the days when I was a bar soap kind of guy. I eventually moved on to, like,
Or
body
parallel,
wash.
rather.
But I feel like I was a cleaner person when I used, like, a
bar
wash
soap.
rag and a bar soap.
What you don't use a wash rag anymore?
I just use body wash, just kind of.
Yeah, but how do you do it? You just rub it. You don't like loofah it or anything.
But loofah makes it so
You don't
so much
poof
more
it?
lathery
Well,
and like
I
it
use
goes
like my
farther.
armpits as like a loofah, you know, or my hair just
Right,
kind of
but-
get a good suds
But
going.
you're
and
just like
You're not-
slathering it.
You're
not
covered in dead skin,
You're not
Brad.
exfoliating it all.
Ugh.
Well, I rub really hard.
Brad's covered in a thick layer.
Brad,
of
you're
dead
not.
skin.
Brad, you're
Brad
not.
is probably like, you could probably peel Brad an entire layer of Brad off.
You're
You can,
not
like, shed
13
him.
anymore. You don't need to.
Idiots. You guys are idiots.
You need to exfoliate.
Soap does a good enough job because it's soap.
Yeah, but you're not using soap. You're using body wash.
You still using single ply toilet paper too?
I get a good yeah. You just bunch it up, dude.
No!
You scrub really hard.
Brad, you say you just bunch it up, but then you could just buy like 2-ply and you don't have to
I don't
bunch it
like
up.
2-ply. It tears like it when it's.
Spoken like someone who's
False-
accidentally fingered his
false.
asshole.
It
But
gives you
never
a
with
false
single
sense of
ply.
confidence.
Never with single ply.
The 2-ply gives you a false sense of confidence when you go in.
What?
Is your
The double ply gives you a false sense of confidence. when you go in.
Exactly!
Yeah.
is your like butt hair just like the bristles used to clean a grill or something? How are you like I don't understand.
What?
Oh, now this is happening.
This
to you.
podcast
If
is
you
off
get a
the
good bunch, it's like you're creating a toilet paper loofah.
Can we?
Brad, you
Next question.
All right.
Holy fucking shit.
All right. Tyler
Double ply
asks,
tears easier.
in the 4-player banner of you guys drawn as video game characters, done by our community member Krita.
No.
Oh, sorry, Nell.
Nell.
No,
Sorry.
Krita did our icons,
Icons.
Our subscription icons.
Well, you know what? I
They
forgot
both
Nell
did a
because
phen-
Nell's not in chat anymore.
They
Where
did
the fuck has
they
Nell
both
been
did a
lately?
phenomenal job.
Where's fucking Nalufi been lately?
She's working a lot, and she always works when we're streaming.
Oh, well, she should say hi sometime.
She should.
Nalufi did our banner.
That's not how you pronounce it.
It 100% is. I confirmed it with her when we met.
No,
her at
I
E3.
confirmed it with her, and she said it was nullify, and she just says yes to whatever you guys say.
No, but she said to me, she says yes to whatever you guys say, but it actually.
No, she doesn't.
No, what's the question?
I still haven't been able to figure out which characters Brad and Crispy are. Can you please enlighten me?
No.
Huh? And what?
Do you?
Well, hey,
Turn
here's
on
a
your-
hint. They're both intelligence systems.
Your caricature
I know
that we use on the
I
website.
know. I mean, of course you don't know because you're a jerk just like the rest of the world. It's Advance Wars, of course.
My get up is
Specifically, I guess Andy. I guess
Yes,
that
it's
was,
Andy.
That was
It's
the-
definitely Andy.
Yeah.
Was the inspiration. For
Andy's the
yours.
only one who wears shorts.
Yeah.
mine's based on Robin from Fire Emblem Awakening.
There you go. All right. Final
we
question
go.
from patron
Robin's a chick.
Soulprint. What is the fastest way for a video game to
is
make
nothing.
you consider that it isn't for you?
What's
I-
what?
The
What's the
fastest way to make you a video game make you consider it's not for you? What's the fastest way for a game to make you not like it?
I mean, honestly, I think
What does a game have to
Weird,
do?
like too many weird, unintuitive menus.
Yeah, that could do it for me.
That's a turn off.
But I mean, you like Souls games, and those have bad menus.
Yeah, and I know what they all do.
I think.
That's a good question.
I think for me,
If it's like a football man throwing a football,
Ooh.
I know it's not for me.
Okay. Unskippable dialogue. Like
That-
when you're in a game and you can't make
or
the dialogue
unskippable
progress.
cutscenes. Although that's not a.
Well, hold on, Nick.
That
Hold
one-
on.
there's a
That's
lot
a
of
big
that.
deal for me in a game that you die and have to rewatch
Yeah,
cutscenes. Like, oh my fucking god.
I
man.
think the big thing for me is just kind of. I mean, you have to play a game a little bit, but for me,
Numbers.
how the game just feels to control, which I know is a very vague thing to say, but like an example, which I was just talking about earlier, I've been talking a lot about Dusk. which is a game I really, really, really want to like and play more of. I can't stand the. I know, Brad. Give me the finger all you want, but like I can't stand the playing a game that feels like you're fast forward the entire time. It just
it's funny because it's a 90s shooter, right? And the one 90s shooter that you like is Turok, and control-wise, that's a disaster.
But it doesn't. But it doesn't feel like you feel like you're moving at a normal human pace. I don't feel like someone's holding on the fast forward button the entire time that I'm playing, and that's how I felt when I was playing Dusk, and that just kind of turned me off. That's just the first example that I.
You have to hold down a button to walk. That's good design.
A lot of games do that though.
Like what? Where the
like
default
what?
is run?
Wait.
Yes.
Wait,
There are
hold
plenty
down
of
a game
games
to
that
walk.
do
Yeah,
that.
that's true. I guess that
On-
is true.
on
But
PC,
no one ever
on-
holds that button.
On PC.
Wait, what games have you hold down a button to walk?
Plenty of games on PC.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, like Tomb Raider. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
plenty
you
of
know?
games like default to run, and if you want to walk, you press this button.
Usually, I figured it was like contextual. So, like, if you want to walk, you just put less pressure on.
Well, back in the day, I mean, so you're talking about pressure, but back in the day, most PC games, if you wanted to run, you had to hold shift.
Yeah.
And that just got really fucking old, and people were like, "Oh, I'm running 99.9%
so in
of the
Dusk,
time."
literally shift slows you down.
Yeah, so a lot of games started doing it where it's like, well, then let's just default it to
Yeah.
you're always running, and if you want to walk for some reason, you hold shift.
Maybe I should try Dusk again and just hold shift the entire
Well,
time.
no. Listen, truth be told, you didn't really play those games in the eras. That's fine. It is different. You just got to get used to it.
All right, we got to
And you
move
will.
on.
You will.
We got
Like,
3
you
more
used to
questions.
playing anything.
We
I mean, I
got
played it
3
for
more
2.5
questions.
hours and I didn't like the way it felt, so I stopped.
3 more from our supporters on Discord, Twitch.
Our Twitch supporters. Which, of course, if you're a supporter on Twitch, you can jump into our Discord channel for supporters and ask us questions as well.
First question this week from in Discord from Thorax. Nick, you were hiking down your favorite mountain trail and see Leon Kennedy and Arthur Morgan fighting to the death. During the scuffle, Arthur knocks Leon's magnum out of his hand and it lands in front of you. You decide to use the magnum in order to end the conflict. Who do you pull the trigger on? Leon, Arthur, or yourself?
How about I shoot it in the air?
By
and then
taking yourself out, both Leon and Arthur will survive.
He does the Point Break thing.
you shoot it? No, you fire one shot in the air and then you point it at him and you say, stop! And that usually stops
That wasn't
people.
an
Why would
option.
they
You have to
stop?
shoot one.
Oh,
I
God.
say just shoot Arthur, but I'm not going to say why.
I mean, one of them is a police officer and the other one is a criminal.
Yeah, that's true. Don't shoot the cop. Shoot the cop, you go away for a long time.
Right.
I'm gonna
but
go.
then you find out that he's been infected by
Unless
some
there
kind
weren't
of
any
G
witnesses.
virus.
Pretty sure I'm gonna shoot Arthur
And he's a monster and he eats you.
if that's my only option. But I would prefer.
Arthur's done a lot of bad. Leon, I mean, it was his first day on the force.
Also, that's not fair.
So killing a rookie cop, that's real bad.
That's like
That's some DD.
By the way, I really like.
That means he hasn't even been corrupted or anything.
I really like.
He's like fresh faced,
I
right
re-
out of the academy.
I really enjoyed the puzzle in Resident Evil 2, the rookie's first day on the job, where they gave him like like gave him the hazing ritual where he has to, his desk is locked and they
Not exactly the witness, but
No.
All right,
that's
next
clever.
question
That's good.
from Chainor
Chainor.
Abernathy. Is that a name?
Abernathy.
That's Chai, isn't it?
It might be.
I think that because that's what he's going by in Discord. Yeah, that's Chai.
I fucking hate when people change their names to weird shit.
Damn
Why
it,
did they let
Chai.
you do that?
All right, what's the question?
If you were forced to escape a Resident Evil style situation in a complicated puzzle building with monsters running around, whom related to 4Player would you trust as your partner to escape and why?
Crispy.
What skills do you bring
Why?
to the table?
I don't know.
I choose Nolan.
P.S. Nolan is banned as a party member for everyone else.
I also read the question earlier.
I also choose this guy's dead wife.
I feel like
I
Chris-
would choose.
Someone calm under pressure.
I feel like Crispy would be very calm under pressure. I would be freaking out.
I don't think Crispy would be calm under pressure.
Yeah, no, not at all.
oh my god. Jeez, thanks guys.
Hey, remember down the road. Remember who gave you the vote of confidence,
I
Crispy?
thrive under high pressure situations.
I'm gonna go with Ed.
I'm going to choose Brad because he's tall, but I also feel like I could outrun him if need be.
Dude, can you imagine being trapped Can you imagine being trapped in the Raccoon Police Station with Carlos?
No.
Don't pick Carlos.
Don't ever pick Carlos.
Carlos would be that guy that got caught under the trapdoor and then got...
As someone who's played co-op games with Carlos, don't pick Carlos.
All right, next question.
Beck to the future. Beck. Your home burns down.
No.
You can save exactly one video game related item. What do you save? Pets and people are safe.
Wait, like
My squishy
pick a
Kirby.
console?
I don't know. He says one video game related
My
item.
Now here's,
computer?
Yeah, I
here's
was gonna
my
say,
question.
Is my PC tower over there an item I can choose?
All of
That's
my
not
games, I keep all of my games,
not?
the actual discs in like a briefcase
Like
type
a
thing. Does
folder,
the
yeah.
briefcase count as the one item?
Sure.
Yes.
Then I'll take that. Done.
I'll take my collection of PS1 games. That's
Ooh,
all
that's
in
good.
one.
See,
Or maybe my PS2 is probably the biggest.
So the problem is I still have like my big video game shelf. I keep all my cases.
I take the shelf.
So I can't I mean, I guess I could maybe open up that window and just try and shove it out the window. But yeah.
The bookcase filled with games.
Yeah.
That's
Just
what I
comes
said.
flying out a burning house window.
I choose my desk with everything on it.
I don't know. That's tough. I
Nah,
mean, like I
my-
said, if I couldn't choose my tower, I would probably. I don't really have too much that's that.
If I couldn't
sentimental.
choose my tower, then I would pick my Switch, you guys.
Oh,
That's a bad choice.
I
You
know.
could buy those real easily.
I know.
Yeah.
But the sentiment.
Eh.
Like it's like the thing is like I have all my old video game consoles there, but in all honesty, I could live without them. You know what I'm saying? If I had lost one of them, I don't think I'd die.
Yeah,
I would
let's-
be super upset.
Let's
Like
burn our video games.
Play
yeah,
some
let's do
consoles
it.
easier than
Let's do it
replacing-
and put a video on YouTube.
Convinced me. I
Yeah,
don't need
my
any.
PS2 game case is full and it's got 400 games in it.
yeah,
So I might take that. That's just the most games I could take in one grab.
yeah. All right, let's move on. Final question or final. So that was all our questions, but we do have a statement from Wingless.
Okay.
Exciting update. We are up to 5 members in the official 4-Player Network Xbox Club.
Nice.
Come join us if you are brave enough to admit you play an Xbox. Also, shout out to Chris Davis for all the video games he's going to be slaving over, all the videos he's going to be slaving over the next couple of weeks. We appreciate you, even if you have the mic taken away from you.
And for being one of the members of those 5. Right?
Yep.
Actually, I'm not.
Oh, shit.
Horrible person.
Maybe 6. Maybe.
So that's all the questions from our patrons
Wait, how
and our
do you join
supporters
this
on
group?
Twitch. You can find it
I
out
shouldn't have asked
more
that
in
question.
Discord at discord.gg/4player, Nick. Thanks everyone for asking all those questions. Like Nick said earlier, we post a thread in Patreon and a post in Discord every week. You can ask us any question you want.
And I'll be announcing our new supporter spotlight for February next week because that'll be the first show. We'll read the first responses from that person next week on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it is time to wrap up the show with a 4-player minute. Let's
I am not prepared.
let's try and do this quickly because we are running a little late tonight. Brad,
Okay, well, I'll do my first 3 really quickly. My thank you is that Wargroove is finally coming out and for very soon for the Switch in a couple of days. I've been kind of like I don't have much to play on my Switch right now, so I'm glad that's coming. My sweat is that Crosscode got announced for the Switch, which I guess we should have put in news. By the way, guys, hey, Crosscode coming to the Switch.
There you go.
My sweat is that I can't decide if I want to keep going with my current playthrough or wait for the Switch version. My hype is for Dreams. The beta NDA lifted, and they are showing some crazy
Really?
shit. Oh man, you should check some of it out.
Huh.
It's nuts. Look up Dead Space Dreams.
I saw a few screen
it's-
caps of that. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's fucking nuts. But my fuck you of the week goes to Kingdom Hearts 3, goes to Nomura specifically. There is no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's crazy.
And I feel like that is a kind of a slap in the face a little bit, since Final Fantasy helped popularize the
definitely
series
did.
early on. It's what sold copies. They pitched it as Final Fantasy meets Disney.
you get to
know.
see Cloud and Squall's in it.
Yeah,
and,
and maybe those characters weren't like ever important to that main storyline, but it was part of that experience.
Yeah.
That fight with Cloud, that fight with Sephiroth, that's
yeah.
part of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Fighting, Tifa and Squall and Yuffie all in one battle. Those are
that
memorable.
battle. Fuck that fight.
Memorable experiences of playing Kingdom Hearts. So to say, all your Xehanorts are more important than having Final Fantasy cameos, fuck you, Nomura. It's fucked up. So that's my fuck you.
All right.
fucking hate them.
So my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for Wargroove. I've been getting a lot of use out of my Switch lately, and I'm excited to add another game to that library. I'm excited to, like I said, I've been playing like a shit ton of Monster Boy in bed, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be playing a lot of Wargroove in bed over the next couple of weeks. Excited for it. My sweat actually is for Kingdom Hearts. I don't know what to think about that game. I forgot I had it pre-ordered until Amazon like messaged me and was like, "Hey, your game's on the way," and I was like, "Oh shit, what?"
You know what I heard? Elsa sings all of Let It Go.
Really?
You show up like when she's singing that song in her castle,
And she
and you're just
finished?
hanging outside her castle, and you can hear her sing the entire
Wow.
song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My thank you is going to go to Eric for giving me the code to play Anthem with him over the weekend. Appreciate that. Got to check it out. I'm going to play it again this weekend. I still want to kind of get my opinions on what I want to do about that. And I don't really have a fuck you. I mean, if anything, Brad just reminded me about that fight from Kingdom Hearts where you fight Squall, Tifa, and not Tifa, Yuffie, and
Nomura thinks
who was
that
the third one in that fight?
Yuffie, Tifa, and Squall.
Tifa was in that fight?
Yeah, Tifa.
Okay, well, fuck that fight. I remember hating
It's
that
Nomura
fight.
that thinks that Kingdom Hearts is too good for Final Fantasy now. Fuck you.
Krita did want to remind us if we're playing Kingdom Hearts 3, mute it during the Elsa thing.
the
'cause
Frozen
I'm
song.
sure it will get...
I don't care. So the archive's muted. Who cares?
All right, Krispy.
All right, my hype this week is also for Wargroove coming out on the 1st.
Yes.
My sweat. My sweat this week is for Anthem Weekend 2. It's not really for the game. Let me clarify that because, like, you know, we're not gonna know what Anthem looks like for months now.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it comes out next month, we're not really gonna see the full shape of it for a while. So who knows? But I just hope that the demo weekend this weekend goes much smoother than it did last weekend. I will give like a tentative hype / sweat to anything Batman related that might be coming out. I don't know. I mean, it could be cool. If it is true, I want to see them like dig a little deeper and do some like cooler new stuff. Don't just like try to figure out a way to shove the Joker back into it. You know,
How about
do something like Mr. Bloom? You know, do something like the fucking Batman super heavy shit. Like that stuff was cool and it was weird and it was different.
Batman super heavy. He
Yeah,
just has a
dude.
really heavy suit.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's Jim Gordon as Batman, except his bat suit is a mech suit, like a javelin from fucking.
Okay.
And I know it sounds stupid,
love
but
mechs.
it was great.
Maybe at the very least, drop the Arkham. Like, why does every game
I
have to
don't
be
know. I
Arkham
don't
something? Why don't you just do Batman something else?
I don't know, but like just do like some weird like. There's been like newer stuff that's been coming out for the last few years that's like cool. I don't think we just have to like devote everything to like all this legacy shit. You know?
Dude, I fucking want to see a Batman Beyond game. 100%.
I want to see.
Probably never gonna happen,
Brave
but-
and the
But
Bold.
now you could fucking... Now with stuff like Anthem, I could totally see them doing like a Batman Beyond suit where you can fucking fly around and shit.
Maybe we'll see. That would be cool. I think that would be a cool like unlock for like if you beat the game for a new game plus, so like you get a Batman Beyond suit. That
Yeah.
would be cool.
I want to see Batman 89.
Batman 66.
Batman 69.
Tim Burton's Batman.
That'd be great. And then my last one is I'm replacing my fuck you with an incredulous come on really for fucking what's his face Tycho from Penny Arcade. He tweeted out something this week like what is up with Wargroove? Like I don't get it. It just looks like Advanced Wars. What am I missing? And like the response to that thread was all like, yeah, it's been 15 years since an Advance Wars game came out. That's why everyone's excited because Advance Wars is good. And he like yeah,
So that is a fuck you.
yeah, that's like what are you fucking talking about? You're just stupid.
Thank you, Crispy.
is kind of true.
All right, my 4-player minute starts now. It is themed a little bit. You might notice. My hype is for the future of Resident Evil. I'm kind of over the moon right now about how this remake of Resident Evil 2 turned out. Has me very excited to see what's next, not only for Resident Evil 8, but the possibility of additional remakes coming out. There's a lot, people people want Resident Evil 3 Remake. I mean, it makes sense, too, because that game takes place partially in the police station, which they've already built in its entirety for Resident Evil 2. They already have half the game, like, at least structurally
you're
built.
like in the police station for 2 seconds. In Resident
I know.
Evil 3.
I'm just saying, like, they've done some of the legwork already, basically. And it
Dude,
only
make
makes
it open
sense.
world, man.
Yes, make it. That would be fucking amazing. Oh my god. My thank you goes to Capcom for taking some risks and doing some cool shit, both with Resident Evil 7 and finally giving in to the demands of the fan base and doing a remake of Resident Evil 2. I think that, and not only did they do a remake, they didn't just do a remake to like satisfy people. They're like, all right, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do it right. And they did it, and they went balls to the wall crazy. They did so many cool things, and like they're doing free DLC coming out for it. They've been just they included the classic soundtrack, like all that stuff is so fucking cool. They did it justice. I'm so happy. And my fuck you goes to Mr. X, because even after playing that game for 10 hours, when I'm playing by myself, like not streaming, I don't have chat there to kind of like give me moral support. Like just sitting in my room by myself trying to play this game. It freaks me the fuck out, because that Mr. X is terrifying. And my sweat, not related to Resident Evil, is Kingdom Hearts 3. Or mostly Kingdom Hearts in general, because it's the series that for a long time has been on my back burner. And I don't want to touch 3. I don't want to do it until I've played 1 and 2. But I also don't want to play 1 and 2 back to back and then play 3.
I think
you know what I mean?
Just play 3. I really do. What are you going to get out of playing 1 and 2?
1 is very... 2 I've never played. 1 I'm very nostalgic for, and I remember almost nothing of it. And I want to see it through to completion. And
Hard
it's
to
also
go back to.
It's just one of the... I mean,
it is. So I replayed it 2 years ago, maybe.
I mean, I'm about 10 hours. I'm about 10 hours into it already.
Wait, hold on. It gets the fucking Tarzan section.
The Little Mermaid world.
Oh yeah. So because I replayed it when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, not too long after, because I was excited for it. And that it's...
No, I get it. I mean, the thing
also,
is,
you're going to start 2 and have no idea what's going on because you didn't play Chain of Memories.
I know.
I will say that the Nightmare Before Christmas, what's
cool.
Hollow Town?
Halloween Town.
Halloween Town?
Yeah.
That place is still great.
It's cool.
I know.
That
It's
place
just...
is still great.
It's... I am one of the... Like, as ludicrous as Kingdom Hearts actually is, like, I've always enjoyed the series. I think it's full of charm. I still love the way Kingdom Hearts 1 sounds and feels and looks. Like, I just like the...
But here's what I recommend. I recommend playing 3, and if you really fall in love with it, then go back and play.
But, like, that's, like... Oh, my God. That's, like, defeating the whole purpose for me. Like, I want to play 1 and 2 because I want to feel that continuity from 1, 2, and then seeing 3 to the end. I am terrible. Like, I do not like the idea of playing something out of order. Like, it drives me crazy.
What about Birth by Sleep?
I don't, like... I'm not concerning myself with the... I mean, I will watch video summaries of the the peripheral things, but like
By
1,
the way,
2...
I've
I
been
want to
watching
do 1, 2,
a lot
and 3.
of that stuff. I know so much more than you than I have any right to know. It's ridiculous.
I know, and I don't even care if it doesn't make sense or I'm not going to get it. I know I'm not going to, but like
I just
don't
Nominate.
I just don't want to jump into 3 and then feel like I'm missing.
Well, you know, Aqua gets Norded. Aqua's not in Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2.
All right,
she's a major character.
Anyways, that's my sweat. That's the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Do y'all have anything else you want to say? No?
I know what that means to get Norded.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Of course, like we said at the beginning, we're starting to roll out our Game of the Year content. My video's already out there. If you're interested in finding out what my favorite games of 2018 were, check it out. The video's on YouTube, it's on Twitter, it's in Discord, it's on Patreon, it's on 4playernetwork.com. It's out there. We're going to be releasing, I want to say, George's video tomorrow, and we're going to keep rolling these out as we get them done. If you're a supporter on Patreon, which you can join by going to patreon.com/4player, you should have early access to the first 4 videos that we've finished. You can watch those now. And, of course, please join us in Discord. We'd love to have you in there. Discord.gg/4player is the place to be. Mm-hmm. And I think, that's it. Again, shows are on Tuesday this week. I think we have one more show. Yes. So next week will be the last show on Tuesday, and then we'll get back to our normal Thursday night schedule. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching us live and for tuning in. So we'll see you guys next week. Good night.
Bye.